What up? It's your boy RPG, red, purple, gold. Kilos, panoramic roof. Bitch, I'm red, purple, gold. RPG. My strength will never fold. My heart is never frozen cold. I'm the best. Yeah, that's what I've been told. 1, 2, 3. My voice has been freely sold. Luxury in my life is all I know. It's all I know. But I will never sell my soul. Never sell it. I won't judge if you slide down the pole. I can see the whole sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. In my life, I place worse on your last. Well, bitch, you know that's the proof. Yeah, at the back. You would think this is a lie. Never. But I can't promise that it's so spoof. I tell the truth. I can see the sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. You know this is a hit. It is. Feel the drip, never slip, never quit. Never quit. I'm on top of all of it. On the mound. This throne is the only place I'll sit. Sitting on. Camel tan leather on my seats. Are those blood red bottoms on my feet? Yeah. You know that I lead the fleet. I lead it. To you and your crew, I will control all delete. Leather and wood on my wheel. Steak and lobster is my meal. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. I used to numb how I feel. Your love, I wish that I could steal. One more time. You know that I'm the real deal. Real deal. I will crush you under my heel. Now that I am in jail. Cause this beat I just killed. I can see the whole sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. In my life, I place worse on your last. Well, bitch, you know that's the proof. Yeah, at the back. You would think this is a lie. Never. But I can't promise that it's no spoof. I don't lie. I can see the sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. I can see the whole sky. This is how you're on a team with no sport. Yep. The ball is always in my court. I only see A's on the report. Only A's. Oh, please, miss me with your retort. Miss me. My team is kilos of gold. KOG. We are so big and so bold. Why do you want to try to break it? Never. When you know what the mode. I can see the whole sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. In my life, I place worse on your last. Number 1. Well, bitch, you know that's the proof. You're at the back of the race. You would think this is a lie. Never. But I can't promise that it's no spoof. I tell the truth. I can see the sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. I can see the whole sky.
Yes, sir.
I can see the entire sky and all the stars.
Let's get it.
I'm laying underneath my panoramic roof. This is RPG, red, purple, gold. Luxury is all I know.
Welcome everybody to another Bozy World Artist on Artist episode. Oh.
What up?
Oh,
it's your boy RPG.
Hold up. It was so good it wanted to go again, you know what I'm saying? But guys, welcome to another Artist on Artist Spotlight featuring RPG, Red, Purple, Gold. This is episode number 20 of the series. And it's crazy to say, like, damn, it's been 20 episodes. But guys, our guest today, again, is RPG, Red, Purple, Gold, the host himself with his episode. This is the second time we're doing his episode, so it's going to be a little different from the first one. It's not going to be like the other ones, so we're going to skip some of the questions that we already asked and get into some new stuff and see what's going on with RPG. So guys, without further ado, here he is.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing,
How you
man?
feeling?
I am feeling good. I'm feeling good. It's been a crazy last couple of weeks, but I'm definitely excited to be here for second interview, but first one on StreamYard. So let's kill it. We're gonna move this.
All right, guys. So we got to keep the same theme, the same RPG-ness to this. So we're gonna start it off with one of RPG songs, set the tone for this live. So let me get that pulled up for you guys. Well, I already have it here. And this song, it's funny. I actually wanted to play this on the last Artist on Artist I did for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot because I played so many songs.
Yep.
And then I was like, I should have played this. So
How did I forget?
Exactly, bro. I was like, damn, bro. It was the one I was like looking forward to.
Ooh, well,
So
I'm excited
guys,
because I don't think you told me about this one, so I'm excited to see which one it was.
this song is called Split.
Split.
And y'all gonna like this. Y'all gonna like this. Again, guys, this is Split by RPG RedPurpleGold. Let's get it.
It's your boy RPG, red, purple, gold. Woo! Sometimes it's just so hot, feel like I'm split. Ha! Am I split? Well, I feel like I'm split. Ha! Am I split? Well, I feel like I'm split. If I lose my balance, well, even if I slip, one thing that I can promise that I will never quit. I'll never quit. Am I split? Well, I feel like I'm split. Am I split? Well, I feel like I'm split. I show the world one version, but I think another one's inside of me. Another one. It's as if I have got a split personality. Another one. One side holds a heart of a lion who runs a pride. When you see me, you might just want to go run and hide. I guess for the time, my reign you will just have to abide. I watch my foes rush in and back out, just like the tide. Flip side, I'm just too small and weak. I must say what's on my heart, but I'm just too scared to speak. I know when I look in the mirror that I don't see a freak, but I know something is wrong, like I have sprung a leak. Am I cut in half? The future or the past? Will I finish first, or in my own lane will I crash? What is this world, or is it just a false reality? Am I here? It's as if I have got a split personality. Am I split? Well, I feel like I'm split. Am I split? Well, I feel like I'm split. If I lose my balance, well, even if I slip, one thing that I can promise that I will never quit. I will never quit. Am I split? Well, I feel like I'm split.
All right, guys, that's all that y'all get. Y'all know what it is. We can only do snippets. This is the only live that we can do snippets.
Yep, just a tease, you guys.
Just a little, you know what I'm saying? Just a little strip tease for y'all.
Yep.
But again, guys, that was a Split by RPG, Red, Purple, Gold. So again, I chose this song because I know this song to be a Future song. And I know you got something different. So
Yep.
I was just like, wow, like that's crazy. Cause like I would never picture you getting on like a Future type of song.
Yeah.
And like at the same time also like almost do it better than him. In my opinion. Like I like your version better because it has more substance to it. You know what I mean? But just tell us like a little bit about this song.
Yeah.
And like how it came to be, like what's the lore behind Split?
Totally. So when I started working on this song, it's kind of this idea around, needing to kind of be this person or show a certain type of, like, when you get behind the mic or when you're doing a music video or when you are, in public and, whether that's like, on a live like this or on Instagram or whatever it is, if you are the artist and you are showing this certain side of you, it kind of has to be the thing that you show all the time. Like, a lot of times, unless we're doing something like this where, hey, we'll get into more deep topics and then I can talk about those. But a lot of times it's sort of this idea of like, okay, this version of myself is a version of who I am. And there are aspects that really take on some of my best qualities. But then there are other aspects that it's like, okay, this isn't who I am all the time. And so this song is kind of talking about those different things where it's like, like when it comes to doing the music, when it comes to the type of person that I am, like I do feel like I am the lion that is, like I'm the one in charge of the pride. Like that is something that I try to do. But then there is this other side of me that does feel at times like, maybe not even that, oh, I'm not enough, but that it's like, is this what people want? Or it's like, oh, I'm not willing to do like certain things, like we talk about on reviews all the time, just doing the thing that everybody else does. And I want to try to be able to play, different roles of like, okay, I can be able to sing, I can be able to, rap and do these different things, but I'd never maybe purely call myself the best rapper. And there's definitely people out there that can sing way better than me. But it's just sort of like that dichotomy at times of like having to show this person all the time and trying to bring in and bleed in aspects of other parts of myself that are more realistic to who I am as an individual also. And this song was just kind of talking about those different things. But when I heard this Future song, and there are times where like, you know, like Rick Ross, you know, The Weeknd, like Lil Wayne, not as much anymore, but when I first was starting out, you know, like 6-7 years ago, like he was a person that was a big inspiration for me. And a lot of times when I'm listening to a song of theirs, I can just hear something and I'm like, oh my God, I love this beat, or I love this blah, blah, blah. And this was actually a song that was on a movie first, and then Future took that that bass, like down, like he took that part and then turned it into his version. And when I heard the Future version, I'm like, oh man, oh, it's like it got his personality. And I just said that line out loud, and I'm like, whoa. And then from that, then I ended up writing this song. But because that one was one that was so specific and just came about in that way, I'm like, you know what? I want to actually kind of pay homage to that and how much of an inspiration that song was in that moment and kind of came to be. Because I have another song on my second album, which is called Hands to Hold, which I wrote about my dad. And that one I used a Lucas Graham song, but I kind of had my producer at the time make the beat as opposed to just kind of take that aspect of Future's track and just put it in this one. So I had him kind of like, okay, I want you to make it as close to what you think it would sound like, but not just use the exact track again. So it's not very common that I do this, but when the inspiration or when the situation hit me so specifically, then I just kind of really went with it and ran with it. And this is, you know, one of the, you know, 2 or 3 songs that I have that I did take a specific aspect of another artist's song and then be able to implement that into mine. But yet not use the entire thing to where you're like, oh, blatantly he took the Future song, but just enough where you're like, oh, is this like that Future song? Cool. Okay, I like this. So
Nah, I love that, bro. Cause like it's like you said, it's almost like it's like a borderline cover. Cause like
yeah,
you didn't
exactly.
take his words, but like a little bit of the cadence is there in the hook. But then in the verses, you do your RPG thing. Like you just go full on RPG. So like I love that. And like guys, if you don't know, he also has a video for this song. So I might give you a little sneak peek of that a little later. But the video was dope too. I like the setting of it too. It was simple. I think you were like in the studio or something, like in a room.
Yep, actually just in my house. Yep, that's this office right here. Yeah.
I like the lighting too. Like I think the lighting is what did it for me. Like the lighting, the vibe of it. Like it was really cool. But I actually wanna I have like a different type of question here.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
That I wanted to start with. And it is, what does an RPG day look like? So like I want you to give me 2 different ones though, right? I want you to give me just your regular day.
Yep.
What RPG is up to, like a little bit of your routine, and stuff like that. But then also give me the same routine for when you're on your way to the studio and like how your thought process is during that.
Ooh, nice. That's a good question. I really like that. So I mean, a routine day, you know, if you're talking about like, you know, during the week, so, and I mean, obviously this isn't something that I maybe like directly talked about specifically. I probably mentioned it in lives that I've done in the past. But I work for Kaiser Permanente, as, you know, in our large group sales team. And so like, you know, if you work for a certain company and they utilize, you know, Kaiser as their coverage for your benefits or whatever, that's what I do. Like I'm the person who, you know, helps give you more information about what your benefits are or whatever. And so it's like, if I'm in my regular day, you know, I'm probably, you know, I'm more of a routine guy in the sense where it's like, you know, usually up at 6 o'clock, get myself ready, you know, take a shower, do the whole thing, go to the office. Like I'm not one of these people that's like, oh man, the pandemic, now I get to work from home every day. I'm like, that's like prison to me, because when you're here by yourself all the time and there's nobody around, and then like, you know, for that first year and a half after the pandemic happened, like I was forced to be at home. Now I hate it. Like, I mean, not that I don't like working from home. I want my place to be my place. And I want that to be like my music spot, and then work to just be the workplace. Like I just go and do my thing. But in general though, I will probably, you know, be at the office, come back home. And if I know I'm going to be writing something, either like, right now I'm working on like a ton of different songs for like EPs or for some, for some tracks that I'm doing for some collabs as well. And I will probably either try to say, okay, I'm going to focus on this song, or I am going to, try to write to many different songs and just try to be able to, because I look at it more like a percentage thing. Like I'm like, okay, well, I kind of know where I want the song to start and end, and then every line I get in is just one more percent down till that song is completed. As opposed to, and now maybe if the inspiration hits me really hard or whatever, boom, I'll be able to get the whole thing done, in a couple days. But sometimes it's just really more just ticking it down and being like, okay, now let me, come back a couple days later, new fresh mind, and just kind of sit down and do it. But when it comes to getting ready for the studio, that is definitely a lot different, because when I know I'm going to be going into the studio, I am really more of an efficient, like I try to be as efficient as possible. And I will go and email myself all of the music I know I want to work on. I will print it out, and I'll usually make the font bigger, so I'll usually go like 12 to 14 on just like the titles of verse 1, and then on the actual lyrics and the verses I'll probably go 16 to 18, just to make sure that I'm not like and not that I think there's anything wrong with trying to look off of lyrics on your phone, but even if you've got a big phone like I have, it's still a small screen as opposed to a piece of paper that like I can hold in my hand. And in the studio I go to, I've kind of got the mic here, and I can always just have the paper off to the left, but because I'm not trying to do a music video or anything, I'm just looking at that and like making sure that I have it ready to go. And so I will email them to myself, print them off, practice them at least 2 to 3 times before I've gone into the studio, outside of all the other times that I've practiced it. But in general, I will focus on those, 3 to 5 songs the most right before I'm going to go in, usually 2 to 3 days beforehand. And then when I get into the studio, like it's just basically like, okay, here's the song we're going to start with. Here's where we're going to go. Boom, boom, boom. And I also have all the timing written out when I'm looking at the lyrics, so I know exactly where this part starts. So if my engineer needs any like direct stuff, I can tell him like, oh, boom, this start of this lyric starts at 1 minute and 14 seconds, moving into 1 minute and 15 seconds. Like I get that specific with it. But I do that because of the fact that, like, you'll, like, whenever I go into the studio, like, my engineer will tell me things like, oh, yeah, and, like, oh, and then this, like, person came in, and he's like, oh, yep, that guy will send me those stems in about an hour. Wait, in an hour? But you're paying for this time, and you're not even ready with the stuff that you need in the moment while you're just sitting there for an hour paying for that time? What are you doing during that time? Like, I don't get it. And so for me, I try to just be as efficient as possible. And I was just talking to Louis about this last night, actually. But my goal is to try to be able to have a legitimate, good first draft done in an hour for any one song that I do. And if I go in for a 4-hour, so I just was in the studio on Sunday night this last weekend, and I was able to get done 4 songs in a first draft mode in those 4 hours. And so it's almost like every time, boom, 1 hour a song, boom, 1 hour the next song. Sometimes depending on the song, like, when we listened to Pray on the reviews the other week, that song was a little bit faster because my cadence was a little bit more simplified. There was a lot of easier things and I was able to get all of the words out quicker. But if it's like a singing song and I need to do more harmonies or whatever, then it might, be more right up to that hour. But I will feel like I'm being inefficient with not only my time, but with the engineer's time if I'm not putting it at that pace. And I'm not sending him all this stuff beforehand and saying, here's the beat for this, and here's the song that it's going to be called. Here's the beat for this, here's the song it's going to be called. And that's how I'm able to get that much done at any one time, because I look at that as like I'm spending the money to put in this music, but if I'm there just to mess around, then why am I spending the money to do it? Like, then I should be just trying to be able to be more, just, get something easy set up at your place and just do it when you want. But when I get to go in there, I feel like I'm still in work mode, and I'm just like, all right, let's get it done, because the more songs that I can complete means that once I know I'm ready to be able to get that album out or that EP or whatever it is, or that single, the only thing I need to go in and do is just tweak tiny little things, fix any imperfections or any, if I hear any legitimate mistakes. Because sometimes you won't notice it in the moment, then you need to bring it back home and listen to it 3 or 4 times. And you're like, oh, okay, I didn't catch that before. Boom, let me make sure and go fix that. So that's what I try to do, is just be as efficient as possible, because I want to try to be able to get as much music done as I can.
Nah, that's good, man. Cause like as you were talking about that, like I'm thinking about like, cause there's a lot of memes out there and videos, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
like people will go into the studio and the engineer be like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "No, I'm about to start writing now." And then the engineer goes like, "What do you mean? Like what? You haven't
Mm-hmm.
written yet? Like nothing?" And like I think it's different. Like if you have your own studio, you can kind of do that.
Totally,
But
totally.
even when I used to have like my own studio sessions, because like
Mm-hmm.
I had a my boy had a mic interface, so they had the whole setup.
Yep,
We would
yep.
bring it over to my house, and it'd be like maybe 4 or 5 of us just chilling in the living room,
Yeah,
smoking weed, just
yeah,
chilling.
yeah,
And motherfuckers be like talking and goofing around, and I'm like, yo, bro, like not right now. Like
yeah.
we working right now. Like
We working. Yep. Mm-hmm.
it's fun, but like respect somebody when they're on the mic. You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn that
Yep.
for myself because like I used
Mm-hmm.
to do that, and then
Yeah.
I was basically trying to like let them know like, bro, you have to respect the artist, even if you're like in a studio, like a legit studio or like a very nice one, and you're on the outside and they can't hear you, right? Like you're on the booth and you can't even hear me. Like still have that same respect. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
But I feel like again, like everybody like thinks it's a chill zone or like we're just chilling. Like nah, bro. Like this is our job. Like in a good way though. You know what I mean? Like we're working towards something. You know what I'm saying? So I love that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that about you. So my next question is basically like what got you started. So like
Mm-hmm.
if you want to tell us around when you started making music or when you
Yeah.
thought about it, just your journey into that. But like
Totally.
what was the final thing that made you go, you know what, I want to be an artist?
Ooh, okay, that's a good question. So this is actually kind of a, I mean, not the story is long, but the time frame is long. So it's kind of one of those things that's a little bit of like, yes, you can always be able to, like your lungs are like a muscle, like anything else, so you can train them to be able to get better. But there are certain things like being able to get up on stage, do things in front of people, public speak, whatever it is. Like those are aspects about me in a general way that the initial idea of the fear of it's you get the butterflies and the goosebumps maybe a little bit, but it's not this like, oh, I have like my only fear really in life is getting up and talking in front of people, or getting up, and doing a performance. And that was something I knew from a young age, that like I just didn't seemingly have that, that gene. Like I was like, oh man, not even like I love to be the center of attention, but this thing, I love being the performer and being the entertainer. That's always fun for me. And I remember the first time that I performed, I was 7 or 8 years old, and it was a performance that I did at the little like preschool or whatever I was at the time, and I sang "We Are the World" by Michael Jackson, and
Hey,
it was just such a great experience. And like, and for anybody that was watching the Bozy plays, if you heard me do the karaoke for Bohemian Rhapsody, like I've always been able to sing, and obviously I've been able to work with that and hopefully improve myself even more. But just in a general way, like that's always just been a talent that I've had for most of my life. And so after that, then I would just do like little performances. I was in band, I was in actual bands. I did another
nice.
performance when I was a senior in high school for like this kind of like battle of the bands thing that was like a, something that was put on by the high school, and we did it there in the high school. And I had done one 2 years before that, but that was when, and I mean, I still am a drummer, but in a general way, I was the drummer at that time in the band. And then when I was a senior, I was the lead singer. So I've always
Nice.
been into music, and I've always kept myself very close to things like that. But I will admit that I had maybe more of that, like, I don't know, quote unquote, normal childhood where I was doing, sports and all these different things. And so I wasn't like, I love doing music, but it wasn't my focus like it is now. And there's like, and especially, since joining Bozy World, or just in general the last 4 or 5 years, there is so much of the time where I'm like, damn, if only I would have known now, putting as much time, effort, energy, money into it as I do now, if I could have just told myself bro, at 16 years old, this is what you're going to be doing in the next, 1, 2, 5 years, whatever. Like, just keep focusing on this boom, 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 boom. And then this is what you love to do. This is what, in the future, you're going to put all that time and energy into. And when I had gotten out of college, I was like always writing a lot, and I would take songs that I heard, because when I was in college, and I'm in the Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity, and that's where my name comes from, is red, purple, gold. That is the colors of the Sig Ep fraternity, is red, purple, and gold. So that's where I got my name from. And there was this guy who was a Sig Ep in Ohio, and he would take all these popular songs of the time, like the one I can remember the most is In the Club by 50 Cent, and he would always remake the lyrics to like party songs or songs about the fraternity life. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love this. And so I started doing the same thing. And I would just take all of these popular songs at the time and then just rewrite the lyrics in exactly the same cadence. Like I would take the song word for word and then just write it a different.
I love that.
Write all the different lyrics, but everything would be exactly matching what that artist had already done. And then when I got out of college, I was kind of still doing that similar thing, but it moved away from blatantly just using a song and then saying like, okay, if I get inspiration from something, write a song. And then, but then at that point, that's kind of where it stopped. And I wasn't thinking about, oh, how do I get this into an actual beat? How do I make this a song? Well, there was this girl that I had been dating for, 2.5 years at the time, and we broke up, and that was kind of the reaction point. That was the spot where I was like, you know what? And in no way had she wanted to stop me from doing any of those things or whatever, but it was just kind of this moment in life where I was like, you know what? You just really messed up that part of your life really bad. Like, and it wasn't like, like, oh, like I had done anything or she had done anything like, within the relationship. It just didn't end up working out, but I blamed myself much more for it. Like, it was on me, my attitude and whatever at the time, just, wanting to be all of these different things. Like I just sometimes didn't know how to, express it as well as I should have to her. And when we broke up, like, it was kind of like this thing where I was like, you know what? You've been working on this, doing these things for so long. You now need to move into the point where you're going to try to make this a reality, or you need to stop doing it. And then that is exactly what I ended up doing. And that was, the start of me making the Rooftops and Skylines album. And it was probably about a 2.5 year journey to get to the point where I had the album written, and I probably did that for like 2.5, 3 years, where then at that point I had like 5 or 6 albums written, like song wise. But I didn't know, like, I was like, okay, well, now I need to start putting these into, like, a form of releasing them as something. And then I found my producer at the time, and then I, got into the booth and started making it a reality. And then in 2017, I released my very first album, Rooftops and Skylines. And in April, I'm going to be releasing my 6th album, The Long Journey for Balance. And so that is how it came to be. But it definitely was because of a broken heart in a relationship ending that was the reaction point where I was like, yep, you have to do something else with this, or you've got to set it down. And now we're here doing the second interview, and I'm getting ready to put out my 6th album. So at least I know I definitely did something with this one.
I feel like that's how it always starts, though, man. It's always the fucking heartbreak, and then
so true.
Just fucking go crazy. But it's funny that you say like you used to like rewrite songs and stuff, and like that's what kind of like got you into it more, because like the song Forever with Drake, Eminem, and all them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I would look up the lyrics without the actual vocals.
Yep.
And like record myself to that beat with the lyrics.
Nice.
On my phone, right? And this is like, bro, I'm talking about, this is 2010 that I just did it for fun.
Yeah.
And then I listened to the voice note and I was like, this shit actually sounds good.
Yeah.
Like,
nice.
Nice. I was like, oh shit, like this, I actually sound like a rapper. And like, that was just that one thought built up to this. Like now, look, I'm here
Yep.
interviewing other artists as an artist.
Yep.
Like it's fucking crazy, bro. It could be the smallest thing. You know what I mean? But I
Absolutely.
also love that we talked about heartbreak. I think it's you set up the next song perfectly. You already know what song this is. I had to play it. Just make sure you stop me so I don't play the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But guys, we're gonna take a little break here and show another song from RPG. I just want to say welcome in everybody again. Appreciate everybody who's here. Also for the people on Instagram, because we are live on both platforms, because we got it like that. You heard? We got it like that.
Yeet.
So people on IG, I can't see the comments, but I'll try to check in here and there. But I appreciate y'all too. Love y'all.
Love you.
We'll be going live on both platforms all the time. So whatever you're more comfortable with, you already know. But if you want to talk to us, send any questions. Definitely do it on YouTube. So guys, you can start sending in some questions, and I'll get those pinned, and then we'll get to those questions. But let's get into this song. So this song is actually called Love Broken. Man, look, if y'all don't know this song, man, y'all not living. Y'all just not living. But yeah, guys, this is Love Broken by RPG, man. Let's get into it.
Love broken. I'm love broken. We are all built to grow together. But all I want is you and me. I fall so high when it feels like forever. But I know I want you till infinity, yeah. I'll admit that I'm love broken. Let me crash down at the bottom. It tore me all apart. But I'll admit that I'm love broken. But I'll let love break me, 'cause it's all I want, yeah. I know that love is a lie, but I'm lost right in the darkness. On the front lines for the final fight, but I've only known losses, no losses. Well, I know that I'm love broken, love broken, love broken. Well, I know that I'm love broken, love broken, love broken. I'm broken down at the bottom.
Just a tease. I wanted to play more. I wanted to
I know.
play more, but I was scared I would play the whole thing. I'm not gonna lie. But guys, that was Love Broken by RPGRedPurpleGold. And I just want to say, like, this is probably like, I think it was like the third song that I ever heard from RPG when he was first coming into reviews, and like I fell in love. I fell in love with the song. I fell in love with RPG. I confessed my love to him on the live. I was like, bro, this shit is so fucking good. Because everything we heard before that was basically like just more aggressive, more like Split, like, you know, in that sense. And this was like, I just love it because, like, man, like, who hasn't been love broken? You know what I'm saying? Like, the vocals are so fucking good. Like, it reminds me of, like, I'm trying to think of, like, old school, like, back in the, maybe, like Cyndi Lauper era. But, like, this is, like, the modern feel to it. You know what I mean? So
Right. Totally.
I had to play that song. And, if you guys don't know, Love Broken Part 2 coming soon. Just throw that out there. But just tell us a little bit about this song. Like,
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely. Yeah. So the lore behind this one is, you know, kind of similar to the discussion we were just having, but you know, this was kind of one of those situations where, you know, there was this girl that I, you know, I mean, I don't even know if I could really even say that I was like seeing her, but like, we were talking, hanging out, whatnot. And it was sort of that idea of like, you have this idea of who you are and, your good qualities and the things that are bad. And when I was hanging out with this girl, like every single thing, like, oh yeah, let me cook for you. Let me blah, blah, do all these things. And she just brought out all of the best parts of me that I've ever experienced. And for that time frame when I was with her, even up to this point right now, I mean, kind of sucks to admit it, but at the same time, it's not untrue that I felt like the best version of the man who I am that I've ever been. Where, just the things that like, just dumb things, but like, just a lot of stuff of things that I won't do for myself, I was willing to do for her, or, life stuff that I'm like, that's not my thing, but for you, I'd be willing to do it, like that type of thing. And, it was kind of I thought that it was progressing to another level. And I will admit, almost any time that I, am dating somebody or that I start to meet somebody new and I start to get, those butterflies and start to get the feelings for them, it's almost a guarantee that at some point I will be inspired to write a love song. Like, not even just maybe directly about them, but something
Absolutely.
of that good feeling will just be like, oh, and then I'll hear something, I'll be like, oh, boom, oh.
Yeah.
And so I remember I had asked her, I was like, okay, I want to know, would you mind if I wrote a song about you? Now, this was not the song I wrote for her. That was another song on the, not even on the Decadence album, on the one before that. But I had written her a song.
Which one? What's it called?
Ooh, it is actually. Let me take a look at that really quick, because I'm like trying to remember. I'm like, shoot, which one was it? Let me look that up really quick, and then I will come back to that one. But like, I had written this song for her, and she was like, yeah, absolutely, because I was always letting her hear the music first, so she could be able to give me feedback or just be like, oh, hey, are there any that you don't like? Because she was like such a nice person that she would never really wanted to like feel like she ever wanted to give me negative feedback, but I could usually tell like which ones she really liked as opposed to maybe which ones weren't her jam as much to the same extent. And so I had written her this song, and when I sent it to her after I got done, that was when she was like, oh, okay. Ooh, I don't know if this is exactly how I feel. And I was like, okay, well, when I tell you that I want to write a song about you, what exactly did you think it was going to be, in a sense? Like, off of knowing me for the time that you did, like, do you think now I'm going to come in there and be like, yeah, oh, yeah, no, I just want you, bitch. What? No?
You thought?
I'm like not going to write a song like that. So then she's like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that that's what it was going to be. And then that was kind of like what broke us up, in a way. And
wow.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, well, okay, that definitely sucks, but at least I know that every word that I wrote about her and that song in general was 100% real, where I was like, okay, fine, maybe you weren't ready for this, but all those words I really meant. And so I'm just like, you know what, like, that's fine. But then that inspired this song as well, where I was like, it's not like I'm heartbroken. It's almost like I'm broken away from love. Like, and that's why I say in the song where it's like, oh, I'm love broken, but love's all I want. Because I know that if you get past the part where it works and you find that person that's yours, like, that's worth all of the crap you go through before that. But Love Broken was an inspiration from that situation where I was like, all right, now I almost feel like I'm now scared and broken away from love, as opposed to just like heartbroken because of this one individual, because it was such a bigger thing to me, where I was like, oh man, like, I am the best version of who I've ever seen myself be. So I just assume that I'm helping you do the same thing. And clearly that was not the case. But I still, like, I mean, I'm not like friends with her still, but like, we still do interact at times. And like, I know that like the new person that she's dating, it's kind of like, okay, so you were never going to like me because you like military and boring. And I'm like, I'll never be any of those things. But at the same time, it was... Yeah, exactly, right? Yep. And so, but it was one of those things where it's like, I do take so much inspiration from life situations. And there's a bunch of songs that I have that are based on relationships or based on, you know, falling in love for the first time or a breakup or whatever. And, you know, this was one of those that just took on a much different, you know, that just took on a really like bigger thing than what I thought it would be. But like you said, like when I hear the final version of the song, I'm like, damn, this is so good.
Yeah, I think Love Broken is still my number one song from you. Like, I don't think that will ever change.
Mm-hmm.
And then Just Me and My Shawty is my second, bro. Like, those
I
two
love that one too.
Is Just Me on My Shawty, is that going to be on the new project?
No, Just Me and My Shawty was on the second album.
Oh, I was looking for that. I should have looked harder.
Or no,
man.
I'm sorry. No, I apologize. It's on A Rare Breed. So what happened?
Oh, okay.
When I came out with the first two albums and then The Decadence and The Main Course, those were all under DistroKid. But when I did A Rare Breed, I had met another artist called Ryan Bronson, and he had said, "Oh, well, I'm working for an offshoot of Sony. Let's release the album under them." So it's the only album that is not like when you just go and look, like if you just look up RPG, you'll see it. But if you just go and look up like my main page, it's not on there. You have to go look for RPG, A Rare Breed, and then you'll find it.
Okay.
But because it was tied to a different album, it's just one of those where it's like, it's not at the same place as all of my other albums are when you see it. And I actually was wrong. So it is actually on The Decadence, that the one that I wrote for her. And the name of the song was called Just For You.
Oh.
And so that was the one that I wrote for her that then, in a sense, broke us up. And then, boom, then from there, then Love Broken was born from that about a year later. So.
See, you better than me, though, bro, because, like, you did it during the relationship. I did it twice after the relationship.
Right.
Like, I was like, oh, just listen to this. Just, listen to this.
Yeah.
And
well,
I'll tell you,
yeah.
I'll tell you this. The first girl, she told me, oh, it's good, but, like, it doesn't sound like that good, like the quality. And I was like, man, she was like, I couldn't hear it that well. And then the second one was like, she only listened to the bad part. She was like, oh, that's not true. This is not true. And I was like, man, you even listen. Like, I was being poetic. Right. But I love that, though. That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, Just For You was the song that I wrote, and that one is on the Decadence album as well.
That's right. I got to check that out again with the lore now added to it.
Yeah,
make it that much better.
I'll
I'll tell you guys, look, if you check out my EP, What the Fuck Is Love, the whole EP is about my ex. Like, I made a whole EP about her. So, yeah, don't ever hurt an artist. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's absolutely true. If you've ever heard a song that sounds even remotely negative on my albums, that's probably about some girl that hurt me. So, I'm actually, well, this isn't about a breakup thing, but it's kind of like that same thing. Like, you hurt me in like a relationship or emotional way, or you're like a complete bitch. Oh, you might get something, and I am writing something for a new upcoming EP that I'll be doing probably more in like late 25, maybe 26 time frame with all the stuff I knowingly have coming out. But it is going to be a good one. And this one will be a little bit more like more aggressive Eminem style, where I'm like, oh, I'm calling you out on your shit in a lot of it. So I'm excited.
As long as you don't do a stand, don't do a stand. You
know? No, yeah, no, not that, not violent, but just more like, man, you're lucky I'm such a good person. Like,
I'm wondering why. All right, let's move on, guys. So, just to let you guys know, 10th in Music is now a segment in this live. So we started it off as a live, and now we're doing it into a segment. We're not there yet, but my next question is, I want to talk about 10th in the Music, like the origin, because on the last interview, we talked about it a little bit. It was like a video series that you had going on. And guys, again, you can check RPG out on YouTube. Follow him at Jeremy Glines, and he has music videos on there. Like you can find his music on there also. So definitely check that out because he got a lot of fucking videos. Like I didn't even know he had that many until I did the research, looked through all his stuff, and like
Yeah.
that's how I found out RPG is a dancer. Like he can actually dance and like all these cool things. So definitely check him out on there. But again, just tell me about basically what 10th in Music was then and what it
Yep.
is now.
Absolutely. So when I was releasing The Decadence, that was the first time that I had ever done a music video of any kind. And the producer that I was working with, a cousin of his, or somebody related to him, but I'm pretty sure it was a cousin, also had done music in the past, but did music videos. And so for that album, I'm like, okay, I need to be doing and trying something different that I haven't done yet. And music videos just seem like the next blatant place to be able to go. So I had talked to him and I said, here's what I want to do. I want to release a music video for all of the songs that aren't the 3 main singles. And the song that you heard at the very beginning of this live is Panoramic Roof, which was my biggest song on that album and the biggest single on the album as well. And actually up until Columbiana, my best and most streamed song as well up to that point. So this was kind of like, if I was going to be giving anybody the who is RPG, once that album came out, Panoramic Roof was the song that I was going to. And so I had talked to him and I said, okay, what is the cost for something like this if I wanted to do this many or blah, 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 just trying to be able to figure out, you know, all of those other, the backside aspects that maybe you don't think about as the person watching the video, but that I have to think about when it comes to creating it, the time it takes, the money it will take, you know, blah, blah, all of those things. So he said, okay, if we're going to do 10 music videos, boom, here's going to be the price. And then, you know, we'll go from there. And so on that album, and I'm actually just taking a look at it right now because I'm trying, because I kind of, sometimes I don't fully remember always which one it was. So Perfected was the very first music video that I did. And that was one where it was a little bit more shot like a music video. Like, okay, we did, now it was only one scene. So I was sitting at my dining room table in my condo and I was just sitting at the head of the table, and then he did one like from the side straight on and then from the other side. But he also had like a lighting thing where he changed it from red to purple to gold. And then we made the video. Well, then after the fact, like then he kind of started complaining a little bit, being like, well, that just like took so much time, even though it was maybe like 20, 30 minutes. Like it was not that much time. Like, you know, it wasn't like shooting a music video or like, you know, like you had to write a novel or something. But afterwards he was like, okay, I was like, okay, here's what we'll try to do then. Because again, going back to that like efficiency thing, like I was trying to be able to do this where I'm like, I don't need to have the lyrics. I just need to learn this one song perfectly for this one time I'll do it and then go from there. So then I was like, okay, here's what we'll do. Let's make all the music videos one take music videos. And we just find a scene where we want to do it. Boom, one shot, done. And he's like, all right, cool. So then that's what we did for all of the other 9 music videos that was the lead up to that album. So if you guys have seen what I'm doing for the release for The Long Journey for Balance, I'm doing Music Evolution. And so I'm giving you, here is the original beat, here is me putting my voice on there, and then boom, here is now the final version of what will be releasing when the album finally comes out. This was the same thing, except as opposed to calling it Music Evolution, I called it 10th and Music. And so my theme and my shtick with it was kind of, join me on the corner of 10th and Music. Here's this video, here's that music video, here's this one, and just kind of getting everybody ramped up and hyped for the release of the album. Well, when we had our first interview, because it had been enough time, I forgot legitimately that that's what I called it. I remember doing the music videos, but I forgot that my theme around the lead up to the release of that album was called 10th and Music. Well, when I joined Bozy, I was the one that, you know, like I just joined the admin team, you know, I was starting to kind of get my feet wet with certain things. And I saw that we were doing the reviews. You know, I saw that we had like a Journey Through Time and some other smaller ones that we were doing. And so I had gone to Louis and I'd said, okay, I have an idea, because I had just been watching YouTube and they have a series on there that's, you know, kind of like where they have that open door with Architectural Digest, where it's like, oh, they're going to go to some famous person's house and, you know, they kind of do like a theme around, you know, checking it out and whatnot. It was the same idea, but it was kind of like actor on actor. So this wasn't about musical artists, this was about actors in movies. And I'm like, I want to do a segment called Artist on Artist, where I will interview all of like the admins, everybody that's on the team directly to get it started with, to kind of get my feet wet. But then I want to move outwards into the whole community, and then just start taking people to be like, oh, hey, bro, I heard you do this artist on artist thing. Can I, you know, get set up with it? And that's sort of where that came from. And then in the midst of, you know, working maybe 5 or 10 episodes into Artist on Artist, I was like, okay, I want to do another segment that's called 10th in Music. But as opposed to it being like this interview where, okay, we're going to talk about a lot of topics, we're going to, you know, have a gamut of all of these different, you know, things we want to discuss and speak on. Now it's going to be focused on just a single album or just an EP, and we get to listen to every song the whole way through. So like Louis said earlier, like this is the only show that we do where the snippets are cool. But if you come to reviews or if you do another one, like we want to hear the whole song start to finish. So with 10th in Music, I'm like, I want to be able to give the artist a place that if they have a whole project that they just want to talk about that, as opposed to, hey, let's get into your whole life story and all that type of stuff, then we can also have another segment for that, which is still very similar to Artist on Artist, but we just get to focus and hone in on one single EP or a whole album. And so we actually did the first one on What the Fuck is Love as the full episode. And then after the fact, where we have it right now, because of the fact that it's like, it's so similar to Artist on Artist, that we just like, let's combine them. And then let's add a segment into Artist on Artist that if they have a new project, like if you guys just caught the interview last week with Louis and I, we did a whole part where we just focused on Mirrors and we just focused on the What the Fuck is Love EP. Now, obviously, he already had the full actual 10th in Music episode, but that was kind of our first time really integrating it into the Artist on Artist showcase. So that's where we kind of have it to this point now. But it actually started with me as doing a ramp up to the release of that Decadence album, just like I'm doing right now with Music Evolution, giving you guys all of the songs in the lead up to releasing the album. And actually next Thursday, I'm going to be doing a special edition of Artist on Artist, and I will be interviewing the producer, Castellini Beats, since he did every single song on this album. And we're going to be doing, you know, a similar interview, but it's not going to be totally based in the same way as Artist on Artist. It's more going to be focused around the music that we've made up to this point, you know, where we're going to in the future and that type of a thing. So it's like I'm trying to do even more stuff now for the ramp and lead up to this album, because since finishing and completing the main course, I now have a new producer, a new studio that I work with, a new engineer, and all of those things have been improved and are just on another, like I have now moved myself up to that next level working with this new team. So I feel like I get to almost, not in a sense like re-release RPG, but damn, yeah, the other 5 albums were good, but whoo, if you want to start somewhere, get started with The Long Journey for Balance, because the sound, the music, the beats, the everything is just at another level, to where now I'm like, whoa, wow, yeah. Now people get to hear an even new, different version of me that they have not heard before. So that was where I took that from and then moved it into this Music Evolution thing now.
Nah, that's beautiful, man. Because like I was just listening to Colombiana,
Mm-hmm.
and it honestly does sound better quality wise.
Yep.
Compared to like your other songs. Like, not that the quality was bad, but you can definitely hear like the upgrade.
Yes.
Like, I feel like the energy is just different. Like everything is just like better. Like you can see that evolution. So
yep.
That's really dope, man. For real. Like we're all evolving here, you know. And
Exactly.
that's my main thing about Bozy World is just you yourself as an individual upgrading, evolving, getting better, but
Hmm.
also helping others do the same thing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And I think we've been doing a pretty good job of that, just with
Absolutely.
everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually want to show. I wasn't gonna do this, but I want to show one. I want to show you guys one of the videos from that 10th in Music series. So again, it started off as like this video series leading up to the album release, and now it's a segment that we'll be getting to later on in this live, and we'll be focusing on the new album coming out, A Long Journey, The Long Journey for Balance, and we have 3 songs that RPG blessed us with to listen to. So
Yep.
I
And actually,
actually,
for this one,
yeah,
play just for you, because that then you can hear the song that I was just referencing about that other girl, and I think that's probably the best video of those 10th in Music ones that I did.
just for you. I got you.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna do Forever and Tonight because that was my favorite. I just
Forever
love
and
that.
Tonight, that was the other song that I wrote for that album. Actually had a lot of stuff written for her on it. Just for Forever and Tonight was the other one too. So either of
All right,
those
so
two
which one you
are
want to
awesome.
do? Either one, you okay?
I do not care. Nope, because I love them both.
All right, but yeah, 'cause I remember watching this, bro, and like it was. I think it's like the scenery, the
Yeah.
way you're dressed, and then the song, just overall, like definitely one of my like top 5 songs for me. So guys, again, this is what 10th in Music basically began as, and this is one of the music videos that he worked on, Forever and Tonight.
It's your boy RPG, red, purple, gold. What happens if I ask you for tonight? And then I ask you for every night after that. Forever and tonight. Woo! I just wanna try and make you laugh. Just to see that smile on your face. I think I must have gone to first from last. Now I just wanna drop out of the race. Now I can feel that love's near. With love I'm up on a higher tier. With your love I have nothing to fear. Someone please tell me, is this how love's supposed to feel? Woo! Does that make you feel high? I just need you right by my side. Is this why I feel alive? Can someone please tell me, is this how love's supposed to feel? Well, tonight, forever is in your eyes. Well, tonight, I wanna feel right by my side. You brought it right back to life. But this time, I want forever and tonight. Forever is in your eyes. This time, I want forever and tonight. Forever is in your eyes. But this time, I want forever and tonight. I just have one thing to say.
I have one thing to say. That's all I'm gonna show y'all. Y'all better go to that Jeremy Glines YouTube and check these out for real. Cause I'm telling you, when I first saw this and heard this song, again, it was another one where I was just in love, bro. Like, again, just the scenery, the way you're dressed, the song, the beat. Like the beat, I love that beat because it reminds me of like honestly, never mind Drake. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, nice. Yep.
that vibe, and I just love beats like that. Like it's like a little bit like house. I don't know if it's actually house, but it reminds me of like deep house. You know what I mean?
Yes, because I'd wanted when I was getting that song, I don't remember if this was one where I kind of built the beat around the song because one of the things that I did really like about, working with Spaz is that I did get the opportunity to build a lot more beats with him than I have with Castellini or like, just in general with my new team now. But at the same time, the level of the beats and just the general, like their version of quality is better. So when I got to be able to build a beat, those were the best ones that I ever heard in the sense of the quality of the beat. But knowing that the quality of, some of these songs that I have now are so much better, even though I didn't need to help build them, like I was fine with it because that final version that I'm getting is so good that I'm like, all right, it's worth it. But later on, if we get to it, let's play the other music video, Freedom Fighter, because again, kind of that idea of like seeing this one, how we did it, because again, that's like just a couple minutes down from my place, and it's just like in this open field. And again, it was just like one take, you have to get it right, and then just boom, go from there. So it's not like this, okay, now we're going to stop and do a new scene and move to a new location, or now we're going to shoot it from this angle, or now I'm going to get the drone out and do this and this. So it was very simple, very easy, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that our way that we made it was a lack of difficult other things that we'd have to figure out. And, oh, well, all of the, just to be able to get another person in the studio is some of the most difficult, like, planning and having to work around schedules that you'll ever do. And that's just to get somebody in the studio, where you'll be like, how often are you going to be able to go to a music studio? Like, I'd love to know that answer, because some of the times people are like, I don't know if I feel like doing that. Going into a music studio, like you live in one, like, come on. Like, how would you not want to experience that at least one time in your life? So if that was so difficult, I'm like, man, I don't want to have to try to do 10 of these, and every one of these takes 2.5 months to make, because you have to figure out all of these things. I just want to figure out his schedule, my schedule. You show up here. I've already picked out all the places. Boom, 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 and we'll just do it. But at the same time, I love how they came out, because I'd never done any music videos before. You have to start somewhere. And now, as I move on to Panoramic Roof and to Freedom Fighter, from the Decadence album, again, working with a new team, working with, a new director that is at a completely different level. And then you can easily see the difference. When you see the quality of the video and the end result, you're like, oh, damn, okay, that's a glow up and a half right there. So that was one thing that I do love about that. But at the same time, I'm really happy that I started that, because again, like I said, I had to start somewhere, and I'm really proud of those videos, because now I get to see the improvement that I've made, especially on Freedom Fighter. So
now, funny enough, I was actually gonna play Freedom Fighters on this live.
Nice.
So thank you for spoiling it. But now we're gonna get that, and we're almost there. We're almost there. So I actually have a good question for you right here.
Yeah.
Because I know since the first interview, I feel like your collaborations have gone up. Like, you've been collaborating more with other artists.
Yes.
Also, like, more producers. So my question to you, sir, and I might stir some pots with this, but it is what it is. Right now, who's your favorite producer to work with? And who is also your favorite artist to work with?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I will say that Castellini is absolutely my favorite producer that I have worked with. Because of his pure talent and just how good he is at making beats, and also now Louis would be able to understand this, because even better, because he's actually listened to, probably, almost every song on every album, if not every song on every album, getting ready for the last interview. But just in general, like, you spend this much time with people, because being part of Bozy World, all that type of stuff, like, you just start to, oh, well, yeah, okay, oh, I love this album. Okay, now it makes you want to go back and listen to other ones. Or like I said last week on our interview, like, I'll probably listen to Mirrors probably 1 to 3 times a week, because I just love that album. And not that I don't love, What the Fuck is Love or any of the other, music you put out, but that one, I just love that album, and it speaks to me. It's just so good. And so when I was working with Castellini on this new upcoming album, the music that I made, the experimentation that I tried, the different levels that I tried to push myself to, like, not that I wasn't ever trying to do that with the other producers or the people that I've worked with in the past, but his, like, just hearing the beats, hearing the songs that come out of it, I'm like, wow, like, you have brought me to a level where I've never been before, solely by just listening to these beats. But on top of that, when I very first started working with him, and this to me is a big deal, like, it's a very, very big deal. You know, like I was talking about earlier, I was in a fraternity when I was in college. I hate being at home by myself because I feel like I'm in prison because I'm by myself all the time. I hate that more than anything. I am gregarious. I want to be around people. Like, you know, some people, they have to hang around people and it's like you're taking money out of their bank account in the version of the energy that they're willing to give you anymore. Like, I started at a 10, now I talk to you for an hour, and now I'm at a 7 because I had to spend that energy to have that conversation or whatever. I'm absolutely the other way, where I'm like, oh, I have a conversation or I interact with people, and then I gain more energy. Like, I'm like last week when we did our interview, as an example, it was just a shit day work-wise and just whatever, and I really was like, you know, like the person that I work with wasn't there. He was on PTO, so I was like, oh man, I'm not getting any like general help. And then we got on our interview, gone. All of it, the stress of the day, everything was just done because I was talking with you. We're, you know, getting deep into conversation, talking about music, but it's just the interaction. It's that feeling of like, oh, okay, well, you know, but the other part of it is that, okay, yes, because of, you know, how much I love Bozy, how much I love you, it's like, it is just better because then I'm getting something from that. Even if I'm having to take the time and do the things to get ready for the interview, when I'm in it, you're giving so much to me as well that I left that interview being like, oh man, best I felt all day long. Well, when Castellini and I at first had reached out to him, and I, you know, because when I was kind of making the final decision that I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to move and find a new producer to be able to work with, and, you know, try to make an upgrade and take that next step within my own career, but also finding somebody that in addition pushes me to do more too. And not that my previous producers or people that I'd worked with in the past didn't do those things, but it's like I need it all the time. Like, tell me that I'm not doing something well, and then I'll push 10 times harder to make sure that the next version is even better. Because I felt like in a little way I've let you down a little bit. Like, or if I'm not giving my 100% every time, just like you said earlier, I'm not respecting you and your time enough either. If I'm just here and, oh, now I'm going to start writing, like, what? How did you not have that done before you get into the booth or before you're coming into the studio? And like you said, like, if it's your studio or if it's like, you know, you're there at your buddy's place and you just kind of are messing around and you're just, you know, you're just, you know, bullshitting and just hanging out and talking, and then, oh yeah, in a couple hours we got to music too, that's fine. But again, if you are there and you're trying to get this music done and you're trying to get the work completed, you know, not being ready and being prepared are things that I don't like to do. And when I met Castellini and I was like, listen, I want to be able to do an album with you. Here's the stuff that I've done up to this point. You know, I want to be able to do at least 10 to 13 songs. What is your cost? Like, blah, 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 blah. And then I was talking to him about that. And then he was like, oh, at some point he was like, oh, hey, give me a call. And I'm out on a walk at my campus because if you walk around the edge every 2 times around, it's a mile. So I kind of always know, okay, I know how far I'm going depending on, you know, how many times I've gone around the building. And we ended up getting on a call, and then 4.5 miles later, we get done with that call, and I'm like, who is this person? Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, you're such a bro now. I already, like, am just completely like, oh, I already want to make this album yesterday, give you, like, the best energy you've ever heard, blah, 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 blah. And, like, and so it's just kind of this thing where it's like, I want to be a part of a team and a brotherhood, and I want that idea of the fraternity in everything that I do, in the sense of those people that are the closest to you and you can rely on them and they can rely on you. And, you know, that's one of the things about Bozy that I love so much as well, is that even though there's aspects about the fraternity that are definitely much different, like we don't actually live together, there's not like that actual, like, you know, we couldn't just go over to each other's houses like I could with my actual fraternity brothers now. But the idea of the emotional side of all of the good things about that, that's what working with Castellini was so important to me, but then because we connected so well, I'm like, oh, you've got me for life now, because this is the type of producer artist relationship that I want. I want to feel like I am doing something more just as much for you as for myself. And then also too, like, with him introducing me to my new studio as well, and now working with my new engineer that I work with there, it's like this perfect trifecta of me as the artist, him as the producer, and then Ezra, my engineer. And he's, just as much of a bro too, where I'm just like, oh man, and I'm chatting with him during the week and just being like, hey man, how you doing? And blah, blah, blah. And oh, yep. And I'll get this sent over to you and boom, boom, boom. And like, I just need that when it comes to the music process, because it means that I'm letting go even more. And when I'm just stepping in that booth, like yes, I'm there to do work, but I'm here with family. And that's what I love about it. And so that's what I loved about working with Castellini, just because of all of the things that I wanted happened just kind of so quickly. And I'm like, oh man. And then he introduces me to them. And then I now see this huge glow up in my sound, in my presence, in just everything. And so I'm like, that was because of you. That was because of me taking this step forward, reaching out to you. And then because of that, you show me this and this. And now everything's on a whole nother level. So that's for the producer side. For the artist side, that one is a little bit more difficult because I haven't actually collaborated and worked with a ton of artists. But I will say that it's probably not going to be somebody that I've already had on an album, probably something that is going to be coming up in the future. And while I know that the music that you and I are doing for my stuff isn't completed yet, but the ones that we've done, already, like the other two songs that are going to be coming on a different thing, I would say you are probably my favorite artist that I've worked with, in the sense that the work we get done, but also like how well we can communicate and just be like, oh, boom, boom, boom. But yet, like, you just can give me the beat or the song and then be like, all right, I know what RPG gives me is going to be fire. And I would say also too, I am very, very excited for my song that I have coming out with Light. I actually really, really like how our dynamic is together. And then also, now, if you guys tune in to reviews on Friday, I'm going to preview it there for the first time. But I have a new song out called Lost in a Nightmare, featuring Malachi Manson and Hellbound. And even though I didn't maybe work as closely with them, it was more just kind of like, oh, here's the beat, boom, they sent me their stems. But I really love our sound together as well. But I would say when it comes to more of like the full meal deal, it is very much so, in the sense of like, the only thing that's missing between you and I is the fact that we don't live close to each other. So we can't get in the booth together and like do the studio time, like boom, boom, boom. But I know it will come in the future, but that would be the only thing that I would say I'm missing. I'm like, oh man, if I could get in the booth with Louis, that would be like, or when I do, it will be crazy. But I wish I could do it right now, especially having you come into the studio here at my place, I'm not at my place, but in Seattle, because I'm like, oh my God, it would be crazy to see what you would also sound like with like their setup and all of the, other stuff too. I'm like, oh man. And I agree with you too, though. Like this year, one of my big goals was to do a lot more collaborations with people and try to be able to get my name out there a lot more, to be like, oh, well, I also love working with RPG because of this song or whatever that we did and collabed on together, as opposed to, oh, I just really, really like his music.
No, I love that, man. Cause like for me, like Light is definitely my favorite, just because like the chemistry is there. It's like
Totally.
natural.
Yep.
But I feel like when it comes to you, like I feel like with you, I get more of a. I feel like I'm working with somebody who's famous already, like because of the quality and like
Yep.
how you actually construct the song and like make it, and like you send the lyrics out, and like I think the only other person that does that is Sephora. Like she's done it with me, where she sends me her lyrics.
Yep.
And she's like, look, this is your part, whatever. We talk about it a little bit, or I'll just like, she honestly trusts me with the songs. Either way, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I just love the whole collaboration, like, cause like I think that's what this tournament is about. I've said it at the start of the tournament. Like this tournament is so people can learn how to network and collaborate with each other. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
especially between like artist on artist, but then also producer and artist.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? Because like you talking about like the whole that connection that you need to have with a producer. Like I have that connection with Whetstone,
Yeah.
and it's getting to the point where like Whetstone is gonna be my main producer from now on. Like, cause I can hit him up. I just hit him up and I was like, yo, I got a song with this girl. I don't know if you know her, Love Melodic on Instagram. She's in Florida.
Is she? I feel like I maybe have heard the name, but it doesn't ring a bell right off. Is she in the community?
Nah, she's not in the community. I'm gonna try to get
Okay.
her in there. But
Nice.
I asked her to collab, and she was like, yeah, I'm down. So I hit up Whetstone. I'm like, look, this is the girl I'm trying to collab with. I sent him her profile,
Hmm.
and I go, look, check her sound out, make a like a R&B type of beat off of her
Yeah.
sound, and I'm gonna go off her energy. He was
Gotcha.
like, yo, I got you, bro. Don't worry, about I got you. I'll hit you up when I'm done with it. And like he actually goes and does that. You know what I mean? Because like he
Yeah.
knows, for one, I'm gonna bring you some artists. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like that's the main reason I do it. Like if he sends me a beat, I'm trying to get somebody else on it, so then they can go to Whetstone. Like I
Yeah.
send him you, like bunch of people, and like that way he gets exposed more to the music industry, like the underground and everything. So
Totally.
I really love that, honestly. But I actually wanted to talk about, because we're talking about your favorite artist to collab with, producer. So I want to talk a little bit about Ro
Yes.
in the house, because
Yes.
I feel like I feel like at least with me, like like if you look at the audience, if you see Ro, you see RPG. When you see
Yes.
RPG, you see Ro. Like it's like undeniable. So
Totally.
just tell me like a little bit about just that connection, maybe how
Yeah.
you guys met, and just like you can talk about the projects and everything, but just tell me about the
Yeah.
connection and everything overall.
Totally. So, and I mean, and I would say yes in a general way. So, 1971 is her artist name. So when you see us on a song together, and she was the other person that was in Freedom Fighter with me, and we've probably done 4 or 5 songs together now at this point. We've got another one coming out on the new album, and then I actually just wrote another one that she hasn't gone on yet, but it's sort of, and if we play Aurora Borealis, like that was the newest and the first single that I released for this upcoming album. She is the artist on there with me as well, and it's actually a really cool story because there was this guy that I knew. His name was Jacob, and he was the one who first introduced me to like DistroKid. And okay, now you've got this album. Here is what you need to do on the backside to get it released. Do all those things. Boom, boom, boom. So he was like very influential and very much a foundational person to me when it came to when I was first coming out as an artist. So like in 15 and 16, before the album was coming out, he was the one that I was going to figure out all the backside stuff. Because now if you guys go back and listen to my first 2 albums, I have 2 features on there, on the last song and the first song. The last song on the first album, and then the first song on the second album, with this artist called Supreme Savage. That is Jesse, who is one of my fraternity brothers, and he's actually the other one that's on the Decadence cover art with me on the album cover art. And his brother was in a band with this Jacob guy. And so that's how we all knew each other, because even though Jesse isn't as big into music like I am in the sense of like doing music, his brother and I are very much the same. We just do different types of music. But he was in bands, played around the Seattle area, and Jacob was their lead singer. So a couple years later, I randomly, and this was before I was really on Instagram like I am now. So this was when I just had an Instagram account because I almost needed to have one, like blah, 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 that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I randomly caught this, oh, Jacob is going live. And I watched this live, and he was on this live with Rohenna, and I listened to the entire thing, like an hour and a half long conversation that they had, about a bunch of different stuff, about politics, religion, music, blah, 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 all these things. And I just remember kind of being blown away by her in a general way, where I was like, whoa. Like, and then she also lived here in the Seattle area. So after that, I actually friended her and, as the kids say, slid into her DMs.
Yeah.
And so I messaged her after the fact, and I was like, listen, I just saw this whole video. I love all the conversations that you guys had, but you talked a lot about music, blah, blah, blah. I know this is kind of like weird, but Jacob was the one who helped get me set up, with all of these different things when I was starting my music career. And I'm working on this new album. This was a rare breed. That was the first one that she joined me with. And when I was messaging her, I was like, listen, would you be willing? Have you ever done music before? And would you be willing to get on a song with me? And so then she hit me back a couple days later and she's like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Like, actually, yes, I would love to do that. Because now, before I knew this about her, but now I do, a lot of the people that she had dated in the past were also artists like myself, but they weirdly were like, oh, no, I'm the artist. You're just here as my girlfriend, so you don't do anything with the music.
What?
Yeah, not like, but she maybe wasn't also like fully like, oh, but I want to do this. Like I was the first one that like really gave her like, I want you to be on this with me. And then she got that experience, but it was more so like, they weren't really they weren't really letting her get as involved as I think she wanted to be. Yeah. And so then she came in and then did 2 songs with me. But because she's also, from Bangladesh, so she's got this beautiful accent to her voice, unlike any, not that her and Hellbound have that same type of thing, but the uniqueness of their voice is unlike anything I've ever heard before.
Yeah, that's facts.
But because...
Yeah, she got a little attitude in it, too. Like, not like a bad attitude, but she got the, the cockiness with it.
Yes, and in a lot of ways, and now... I would say that, if there was a person that is tied for first, she is definitely it because of just the amount of music that we've done together. But she is not she does this music with me and she does music on her own too a little bit. But I just I'd work even more with her, than we even do now. But it's also trying to, be able to work around schedules and her life and my life and, that different type of thing. So we don't always have as much time to be able to work together just on music stuff as maybe we would like. But in a general way, after we did those 2 songs together, and those were just ones that was like, okay, here's the lyrics already written. I just need you to do this part, sing this chorus or do this, initial thing or just harmonize with me here on this. And I just kept it really simple for her, boom, boom, boom. Let's get you that experience because, this was 5 years into, me doing music. So my comfortability and understanding the process was much, much different at the time. And she was brand new to it. And so once we had gotten done with that album, then I'm like, okay, once we started working on The Decadence, I'm like, okay, I have to have you on this album too. And it was when we did Freedom Fighter that it really solidified her importance to me just in a general way as a person, but also just because of the music as well. Because when we were writing that was the song that we wrote from scratch. There was not any oh, I have this idea, blah, 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 blah. She was like, we need to write a song together. We need to do. And so then she was like, okay, I have this idea and I want to call it Freedom Fighter. And way back in the day with her father actually was a legitimate freedom fighter, part of the army and doing that whole thing when Bangladesh won their independence in 1971, which is why she calls herself 1971. Wow. Yes. And so
that's fire.
When I heard that, and again, I guess we probably talked about it in the first interview, but I know I've mentioned it in different lives and you can hear it in a lot of the music that I talk about. But I was adopted from Colombia and I was born in Cali in Colombia. And even though our stories were much different, the idea around them and that there's such this rich history of this background that we have and where we come from and all of those different things, that when we started writing it, even though I didn't have anything in my past that could be thought of in the idea of a freedom fighter, so I thought it more about my fight for freedom. And even though in the moment when I was being adopted, I didn't know that, but now that I see my life now, and I look back at that time frame, and weirdly enough, I just was talking to my mom about this today, but like I look at it as like, okay, yep, I could have still been in Colombia.
Right.
Whoever my mom was at the time was probably maybe in between 16 to maybe 22 years old, not ready to be able to have a child, not, in a place where that was going to be something that was, conducive to a person being born in another country, especially Colombia at that time, was not nearly as nice of a place as it is now. Much more violent, much more scary in just the general way, much more like Venezuela now, as opposed to Colombia like it is nowadays. And so I looked at it more as my fight for freedom to get to be with my adopted parents now. And so the very first line I said, can you tell me all the people on your family tree? I can't because, like basically like, oh, when I was born, like, oh, they just forgot about me. And so by her letting me know that it was okay to go to that level of like emotional, we're just going to be like completely open and like just whatever comes out is whatever comes out. And the fact that we came up with Freedom Fighter in the way that it was, it's one of my favorite songs that I've ever made, but yet it's so personal to both of us. Her part of her lyrics in there is her story about her father and growing up and doing those things. And mine is all about that process of being adopted and being brought from Colombia and moving to the US and that life that I've had. And even though I don't know who my parents are, I don't think in any way that my life would be better if I was there with them solely just because then I would know who my parents are. Like I kind of have this idea in my mind where I'm like, yeah, like it's a thing you have to grow up with and deal with at different times of your life because it will hit you in certain ways at different times of your life because now you're more mature in this and now you think about that situation in a different way. Or when I was young, like, oh man, I just think it's cool that I'm adopted. Yeah, oh, I love my parents so much. Like, and then once you get older and you start to realize like, wow, look at all the things they've done for you. Look at all of the, all of the opportunities and the pathways and everything that they opened up for you as the individual. They don't have to do any of those things, but they wanted to see you succeed. And I have a lot of music that I've written about, my parents or, my adoptive mom, and I've put a lot of my emotion and my feelings about that into those songs. But this was the first time that I got to do that with another person, and the fact that it was Ro and that we've done now so many songs together, it just was kind of like this thing that just cemented her as like, when we get to be able to create music together, I can just like every time I'm like, oh, I just can't wait till this is the best new song that we've created yet. And so she'll be a person that I will work with her until one of us isn't breathing anymore. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an amazing thing because like there'll be times where it's like we came out with Aurora Borealis, and then when I'm getting these new beats from Castellini for the album that will come out after A Long Journey for Balance, I got this one beat and I'm like, oh, what? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Like this is amazing. But it was also a type of beat that I hadn't really worked on before. And then I came up with this song called Stardust. And I'm like, okay, if Aurora Borealis was the more sexy pop version, this is the EDM, like hyper, like just, oh, get you up and dance and do-do-do-do. Like, it's going to be like played at festivals and stuff. So it's like, but I wrote that directly, like Stardust featuring 1971 before I'd shown her any lyrics, before I'd shown her the beat. I'm like, nope, I wrote this song with you in mind because I know what we've already come up with and I know how good the song is going to be. And now I know in the future that we'll be able to get it done. But man, it's just, it's amazing to know that I have stuff like that now with an artist like her. But on top of that, it's like you said, like she is more, like she has more of that, like, sexy confidence and that way about her where it is more like in your face, but in a good way. And she pushes me to do those things too. Like, okay, but be more mean about it. Be more, whatever. Like, don't just be big and, RPG, do this and this and this. And so I've become a better artist because of knowing her as well. So, I mean, from that aspect, it's like, I just wish we could work even more together than we do. But she's been probably the most influential artist that I've met, of my entire career up to this point.
I love that, man. Shout out Ro. Shout out 1971 is her artist name. You guys can check her out on all platforms also. So I think this is a perfect segue into the Freedom Fighters video.
Perfect.
So I got that pulled up for you guys. Again, you can find this on RPG's YouTube, Jeremy Glines, or you can find it on 1971. I think it's art by 1971, right?
Yep, art by 1971. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, guys, we're gonna play. I'm gonna play a good chunk of this video too, because it's so good.
And again, you guys, for anybody that's watching now or anybody that watches later, just take into that mindset of when we watched Forever and Tonight, and then this music video, and just the quality difference and just the overall grandness of it. So just the only thing I want to point out.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Again, this is Freedom Fighter, and this is the music video. Full screen it for you.
Can you tell me all the people in your family tree? I can't answer. When I was born, no one was claiming me. I must have known my fight for freedom was all I could see. I completed all my goals and I created RPG. I never had a single chance to take a single step. I can't believe I grew these wings and in the sky I leapt. On the ground is where I started, on the floor I crept. I got the chance to fly, and under the rug I was never swept.
My dad's a freedom fighter, my mom a refugee. Repatriation, they called it. What a bunch of nakirki. After genocide and rape, no diplomatic relations. Abandoned her home where she never returned to Rome. She no longer spoke freely in Urdu, her mother tongue. Taken away from all she loved to Bangladesh, she was flung. Did she win? Is she free to just be? Are we secular? Gone Project on 3 with full autonomy?
Well, not all wars are fought with guns. Some wars, they are invisible. We fight them every day. But life is not easy, it's hard in every way. Well, not all wars are fought with guns. Some wars, they are invisible. We fight them every day. But life is not easy, it's hard in every way.
My parents won each other outside Curzon Hall. Then they created me in exile in West Bengal. I was born without my dad, political repercussion. Namu struggled back, premier kichorum obsession. Shechilo ek bhara posh BSF Dupur. Abu came to the border, handed off a silver nupur. With that I set off in modern Bangladesh. Jekhane nai desh bhag, nai badha, nai shesh.
I was chosen, then I took my flight around the globe. My parents gave me all the payment I needed for my road. They had every single answer, it's like they cracked the code. I mixed my talent and my passion, then I broke the mold. Without all of the love, I never had the chance to win. You create your own success, it's not about where you began. You know that I will never be blown away by the wind. Anything less than the top, you know that it would be a sin. Well, not all wars are fought with guns. Some wars, they are invisible. We fight them every day. But life is not easy, it's hard in every way.
All right, guys. And again, you can see, you can find this video on RPG's YouTube. Honestly, I was waiting for the guns to pull up, and then I was like, I'll stop it there. I think that's a good spot to stop it at. But I love this freaking video, man. Like the way she flicked her hair in that one scene, it was like,
yep,
with the slow mo.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like the simple things, and like,
yep.
honestly, the best part about this video for me is the wardrobe. Like, both of you guys, like, obviously you see, like, you guys didn't even try to match. It was just more like, look, I'm gonna do my thing and show off what I am, and I'm gonna also do that. So like, I like how, like, with Bro, you see her different sides, but you also see your different sides. Like, one, you're more casual. One, you're like, oh, he's drip. He got that drip on. But then then you see the more drip with the guns dripping too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
I love all that contrast, man. And like, again, it's a really good song. I mean, again, guys, definitely check that video out. And again, you can see like just the evolution and everything overall. Like that was dope as fuck, man.
Well, and the thing that I love the most about that video, outside of those aspects that you talked about, because those are definitely my favorite part as well, but like the parts where you only see Ro, like that part where you talk about where she flicks her hair back and she does it in slow motion. So that was actually done in Bangladesh, where she's from. And in that first
shit.
line where she talks about her verse, and she says, "My parents won each other at Carson Hall." Carson Hall is actually where she's doing that scene at. And
Wow.
at the time when her dad was kind of going through all that stuff, that's where she met her mother. And that whole part of her verse is kind of talking about them meeting, you know, like once they started the family and had her come along, even though she does have an older brother as well. But it's just this amazing thing where it's like, now granted, one of the things I love also about Ro and what she does is the fact that she will blend in, you know, her own language with English as well. And so there's like some different like things where she talks about where you're like, wait, what's that mean? Like, oh, I dropped, like he passed through the gate of Silver New Pool. Like that is like a specific thing to her, but yet also like some of the lyrics and some of the words that she uses. Like I love that she's able to go back and forth with that. Because one of the things that I get so mad about myself with sometimes is that I was born in Colombia as a Spanish-speaking country, but yet I was adopted so early that I didn't learn the language. But yet once I got to high school, I was like, you know what would be cool to learn? French. Why I did that, I will never ever really know or ever fathom my own
Do you know some
contemplation
French?
of here. Not anymore, absolutely not. And I'd already forgotten it by the time I got to college. So I'm just like, come on, Jeremy, you are a damn fool. You don't even learn your own language of which you came from that a lot of the world does speak. And if you needed to learn another language,
funny.
that would be the one to do. So I love that about her as well, that she's able to blend both of those. But again, with the amount of emotional resonance and how important this song is to both of our lives, because it's about both of our upbringing. You know, when I see the parts that she did, it's just so beautiful, because I'm like, oh man, like I would love to be able to go back to Colombia and do a music video, you know, at like the orphanage where I was born, or like where I was brought to after I was born, and do that whole thing. Because when we went back, you know, 6-7 years ago for the first time, I was able to go and visit the orphanage. And so it was like, and it was so emotional, like there, it was such a big deal. And for her to be able to have had that experience, to go back to Bangladesh, get that video done for that part, and then for us to do, you know, work with Lando and work with Vivid Visuals, you know, to see this as the end result just blows my mind every time whenever I watch this.
No, that's beautiful, man. And it's like, I think it's a small things of this video too, like the fact that you got the Colombian flag with you, especially in that scene where it looks like a fucking desert. Like that shit was the dopest shot. And then again, I think another favorite shot of me is when Ro, she's going like this and like her hands are red.
Yes.
Like it's just like a cool ass video just all around. But guys, we've made it finally to the corner of 10th and music. So we about to switch it up a little bit around here. We're gonna switch it up, you know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
We are here. So since we're still on the topic of 1971, aka Ro, I think I'm gonna play Aurora Borealis, if I'm being honest.
Perfect. And that's awesome, because this is definitely like, in the sense of just the pure dynamism, the sound of it, even though Freedom Fighter is more emotional and it has so much more of like that, okay, do I love that song more? Yes, because of all the extra stuff that it means. But when I hear the song, I'm like, okay, but if you want to hear the banger that is Ro and I, this is the song definitely to hear.
Let's get into it. So again, guys, this song is called Aurora Borealis, and it is featuring art by 1971. Let's get it.
Y'all better make some noise
For the lovers.
Summer 2025 RPG, let's go.
Taking off.
Babe, I'm just waiting for these cars to clear.
Clear it
Not
up.
a single worry on my mind when you're near.
Gotcha.
Body city, catch catching waves at the beach.
Getting wet.
Money don't matter, you make me feel so rich.
Don't be light breeze in the trees, let's get some sun.
Get some
It's
sun.
finally summer, baby, have some
It's time
fun.
to have some
Come
fun.
closer, let me feel your skin on mine.
Put it on
Your
me.
gaze got me drunk, we don't need no wine.
I'm so drunk, I was done with bitches. Ask God for a sign,
There it was.
Aurora Borealis, but you so divine.
Spiritual
Yo,
awakening.
Gucci boom perfume, ingrained in my mind.
Bougie.
Those long kinky curls, girl, you're so fine.
I just want your love in slow-mo on rewind.
In slow-mo.
Let me feed you raspberries, help you unwind.
Unwind.
This is so sweet, you taste so refined. This romance is indeed one of a
One of a
kind.
kind. Short summer dress, red lips, high heels.
It's a look.
Waxing crescent faces got me in my feels. Smoke
Planetary
this J,
flow.
blow a shotgun in my lips.
Jack Harrow.
And when we fuck, let me grab you by the hips.
Go hard. You have my consent to do whatever you want.
Give me consent.
I want all the loving and the memories to haunt. Pull my hair, spank me, grab me by my throat. Your rhymes fly. You know you're the GOAT.
I'm a star, baby, always got an
I'm a
audience.
celebrity.
I need a midnight sky, campfire ambience.
Vibes.
Soft glow, no filter, let's laugh and
Let's
conspire.
romance.
Your heart, body, mind, soul is all I desire.
All of me. Global warming got us hot. Wars got us on edge.
All right, guys, I almost played the whole song. I almost played the whole. I'm not gonna lie, man. When you said that one line, that shit took me. Oh my goodness. Now my favorite line in that song is when she said she gonna feed me berries, cause I'm the audience, so she's talking to me, and I'm like, "Hey, you gonna feed me some berries? That'll be dope. That'll be dope."
Well, and I loved it when we came up with that song because it was so fun to make that in the studio, because when we were doing it, you know, we had all of our stuff written, but then in the moment she was like, I think that you should do all of my ad libs and I should do all of yours. And I'm like, oh, that's such a genius idea. How have I never thought to do that on my own? And then that's what we came up with, where on all of her parts, I did the ad libs based off of what she was saying, and she did it for mine. So there was some lines in there that I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. Because, and the other difference with this song was that when we did Freedom Fighter, that was the first song that we wrote together. Aurora Borealis was the first song she wrote for me. So she wrote every lyric. She was the one who came up with the idea, because with this beat, this is going to be on the Long Journey for Balance album. This was the first single that we released. And for some reason with this beat, I don't know what it was, I was just having trouble getting inspired, coming up with something that I liked. And she was like, oh, I love this song. Would you let me write a song for you? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, and regardless of what I write, you have to do it. And I'm like, okay, I will do that. And then this is what we came up with. Yeah, set me up. But she set me up for so much success. And I love it because I loved the blatant sexiness of it. I loved the dirty aspects of it too. You know, and just how she was able to kind of like create these just such like beautiful scenes in my mind. I'm like, oh God, this is so good. And I love the fact that it's like, we start out just, okay, here's this song and here's the lyrics and you just do this part. Now we do a song together. Now she makes one for me, and every single time it's just, oh, best song yet, best song yet. And I just love that about the two of us working together, but yet when I give her full creative control too, and I completely step back, this is still what we get. And I love that.
No, that's really dope, bro. Because again, like, I think the best part about making music is like being able to collaborate, and not just collaborate, but like to that level, like to the point where like, hey, I'm gonna do your ad libs, you do mine, and it's like, all right, let's do it. Yep. You know what I mean? Because like, bro, it's been years for the longest that I've tried to do that, and I've never got anybody to do it. I think the closest I've come to that is with Light, where like I did a couple of his ad libs, like some intro stuff, and we did some things together. Yeah. But again, to get to that level of doing that, like, it's really good, man. And again, like when I first heard this song, it was definitely a different vibe from you. Yeah, that totally threw me off, like in a good way. Yep. And it was just so good. Like, it was just very well executed on both of your parts. You know what I mean? So absolutely, shout out to both of y'all for that. So again, guys, we're on the corner 10th in music. And as you can see, the next album that RPG is going to be dropping is The Long Journey for Balance. This is his 6th album. So he has 5 other ones that you can go check out right now on his YouTube page, or just find his topic page. I think you'll see everyone except for Rare Breed. think
No, a rare breed's on the topic page as well. It's just more when you go into like my actual, like when I guess maybe when I go into like because YouTube Music is my main platform that I kind of just base everything off of. So whenever I go in there, I have to go search for a rare breed because that was the only one that wasn't
Okay.
tied to the DistroKid. So,
Okay.
but on the topic,
So
yep, they'll all show up.
I wanted to ask you, right? I had a question. This is your sixth album, so
Mm-hmm.
for one, I want to know what your favorite album is,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a follow up question to that is, which one out of all of these was the hardest one to make and
Mm-hmm.
that took the longest, and which one was like the easiest and was basically done in the shortest time?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so if I'm looking at my albums, I will say that I believe that The Decadence is my favorite album that I have done up to this point, but I believe that Long Journey for Balance will be my biggest album that I have ever done yet. But it's not out yet, and I don't have the ability to just press play on it and then go all the way through every time I'm listening to it. It's like go to the individual song, stop that one, pull up the other individual song, stop that, So there's more work you have to do to get into it. So it is nice when you can just, when the album is released, then you just hit play and just go through all of them.
Oh yeah.
But The Decadence is my favorite album for a few reasons. I think it is the best cover art that I have ever done. I think it represents me in the best way, other than maybe Rooftops and Skylines, just for what I put around me and the visual of what it was. But yet, The Decadence is that on times 10, because Jesse, who's in the shot with me, we have been friends since freshman year of college. He's probably my, one of my best friends in the world, if not my best friend that I have. And he's been with me through everything. We have seen the worst of each other and the best of each other. And yet him and I are still kicking. And when I just went to Grenada, he was there with me, with a group of us. But it's like, boom, it's Jesse and I, and then the world. And then Ro was in the shot with me as well. Probably we just talked about, when it comes to, music and as an artist, one of the most influential people that I've ever worked with, and right up there with, one of my favorite artists to work with in a general way. But then Jesse is also a chef on top of, his actual work that he does. And we had gone to Costco a couple days before we did the shoot. But and I went, dropped $400 on all this food and all this alcohol. And I'm like, I want this thing to be a party, but yet I want all of that stuff showing up in this cover art. It's called The Decadence. So it means that you're doing these things almost for no other reason than because you can. Because that's why it's decadent. That's why it is you could go get a piece of chocolate cake, or you could go spend, $200 and get the best piece of chocolate cake that's decadent, that's all these different things. And so for me, it was just this perfect amalgamation of, having somebody like Jesse there as the chef who made all of this food for us and got all of the things ready for the photo shoot that we then used in the picture. Rose in there with me, obviously I'm front and center, looking like a boss. And the reality of how that shot came together is my favorite that I've done, completely up to this point. But then the music that is on there, at the time, like I said, Panoramic Roof was my biggest song up to that point. And, only Colombiana has surpassed it, and not by very much. They're neck and neck with each other, but Colombiana has a few more streams. But in general, the mixture of the bangers, like Panoramic Roof, like Perfected, like Split, mixed in with the much more blatantly emotional songs and tying it to the people that they were about at that time. So Just For You, Forever and Tonight, those songs specifically, when we listen to the first music video, it's I don't just want you for tonight. I want you for forever and tonight. So that's why those type of songs were so important to me, because of their emotional weight that they had, but their emotional, just to me as an individual. So that is my favorite album, but I do not believe it was also one of the quickest to put through. I would say that was probably either a tie between the main course, and the main reason why that one was shorter is because it's only 8 songs. So I knew that it was going to be more of a, like where the Decadence is like a main album, the main course is more like all right, if I'm just doing a mixtape series, the main course is a mixtape series. And so now for all of these other artists and people that I'm working with that are like outside of, just people that I might want to have on the album, now I'll be able to do, the main course, part 2, part 3, and make that my mixtape series. But then, like, with the Decadence, that was going to be the Decadence, the Extravagance, and then, and the third one kind of skips my mind right now, but I was going to do, and I'm going to do a trilogy of those. But then on this new one, A Long Journey for Balance, this one is going to be called A Long Journey for Balance. The next album is going to be called The Winding Road to Understanding. And then the one after that is going to be something along the lines of like the arduous trip, to like realization or something. Like it's always going to have that theme to it of like a process that you're doing to get to something bigger that maybe you don't understand now in the moment. But that's what this one is. Like this is the long journey for balance. In a lot of ways, things that were going on with me individually, that's what kind of spurred on the inspiration to call it this. But because when I get into that mode, then I also think, okay, well, I know this album's done. What do I want to do with the next one? Do I want to keep it in the same type of theme? Do I want to do something different? And the Decadence was really the first one that I started that with. But I would say probably the main course would be the quickest one I was able to get through because just mixtape album plus only 8 songs. So that one was probably the fastest to be able to get through. Probably 9 months to a year, where most of the other albums were probably closer to maybe a year to a year and a half, depending on when we started to when actually the release date was.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Like the fact that you have that much patience. Because you see me,
Well,
bro. I'm like, hurry up, get this EP out now. I need to get it out right now.
and that's the other thing too, though, because like when I first started, and it was just more like A, monetary, plus B, getting into it. Like when I did the first album in 2017 for Rooftops and Skylines, back then I didn't have I hadn't gotten promoted yet, so I was in a different job where it wasn't like I was making no money, but I wasn't making the money that I do now to where I can be like, oh, okay, yeah, if I want to put all of my effort of what I do outside of my job into music and spend that money and then get these results, it's worth it. But then it was a little bit more like, okay, I had to pay for the cost of the album, plus all the marketing and all those things that I still do now, but just I had to be more strategic with it. And so once I got done with an album, like the longest gap was from 1 to 2. It was like 2 years of a gap where I had to then not in a sense re-save that money, but rebuild up the money enough to just have to give away that all as cash right off the bat, to where I felt like, okay, I've now built it back up, but now I've got a surplus again to where I can just give this money away and then not feel like, oh God, all right, now I'm actually making myself struggle for a little while because of it. Now with the new, role that I'm in, just the promotion that I got, like, now I have the ability to, put even more towards like, oh, now I want to get 3 albums put out in a year. Well, now I know I actually have, the money to be able to pay for all of that, to do all the marketing, to do all the things you need to do. So that was really more for me why I had longer gaps for my first 3 albums, and then 4, 5, and now 6 have all been within like 2 years, as opposed to almost 3.5 to 4 to make the first 2 that it took. So that's really the main difference. But then also once I, kind of got this new role, even more things started happening music-wise, and not even just like the Bozy stuff, but just in general, with moving to this whole new team and everything, that I'm like, you know what? Now I finally have the team. I've got everything where I want it. And if this is the only thing that gives me happiness in the sense of like, I go into the booth and Everything else is gone. Like, I don't think about life. I don't think about anything but getting that song done, or making sure that I'm giving my best performance, into the mic so that it comes back to me sounding amazing. So now I know that it's like, it's worth spending more money to make a video like Freedom Fighter, as opposed to, because like just, and like, I mean, not that I want to be able to like get into money aspects, but like for me to do those first 10 music videos was $1,000. For me to do one music video for Freedom Fighter was 400. But you see the end result and you're like, worth every penny of the extra $399 or whatever that I would have spent, just because basically when you looked at the first 10, those were each $100 plus. But the quality was just, like the equipment that he has now, that my new guy has, just the breadth of things that he has. And like, just like when you get a new mic, all right, well, if you spent $50 on this mic, then go up to $150 for the next one, or go to $200, and you will hear the difference from the $50 mic as opposed to the $200 mic. Or like when we were on the Bozy Plays on Sunday, where BG's like, oh, it's like a $500 mic. I'm like, yeah, there you go. Like, that's spending money, real money, on this one thing, but what it gives back to you is worth every penny that you spent on it. You just have to give it a little bit of time to then let that pure cost of it get through. But for me,
Absolutely.
I watch that music video and I'm like, wow. Like, I don't want to pay you more, but when I see that, how good it is, I'm like, God, I would have given you $1,000 for making this video. Because it's that
Honestly,
good
man,
looking.
400 is a really good deal, bro. That's like a amazing deal for the quality of the video.
Yep, exactly. And that was also like, because that part that we were watching where we're at the desert, that was in like the central part of Washington. So we had to drive like 2.5 hours to get to that place. And like, I brought him with me, and like, and Bro was there too. And like, so it was just like that thing where I'm like, nope, this end result is more important than the time I'm taking to have to drive out there, to be, okay, well, we're all going in my car and I'm taking, my time and my gas or whatever. All those things are superfluous in general when you see that end result, or you just don't even think about it at all, where it's like, no, you have to be able to play the game to be able to see the end result, and you are not able to make money unless you spend money as well. And when you do get to see that end result, it's like, and on top of that, like this, and I think I talked to you about this previously, but like, this was the first year where I actually received a check from ASCAP and actually made money on music this year that I have never received in any of the other years that I've done it. So I'm like, from 2017 till now, in 2024, I actually made money on music and on streams and just the different things that I did. And I look at the quality, I look at the new things that I've done, and I'm like, if you tell me that didn't play a role, then you are lying to me right now. So
That's true.
I just look at that where I'm just like, you made these upgrades in yourself, in your life, in the music. And yes, was the check big? Absolutely not. But did I get it? Yes. So it's like, it's about that new goal and that realization of like, oh, wow, I actually just got paid for this year. Now it makes me want to work even harder to see if I can double the amount of what that check was. So it is pretty cool to be like, all right, I've now pushed myself to this level, and now I'm actually reaping those rewards as well.
Nah, that's real, man. Because like, that's one thing, like, whatever energy and work you put into it, you're gonna get it back. You know what I mean? Like, but one of my best songs on SoundCloud that were like, I released it on my own, like not counting like songs or features that I did with somebody else.
Yeah.
And they put it on their account. Like a single that I released, What's Your Poison? That's the one that I made that music video for myself. And because it has a music video attached to it, it did that much better on SoundCloud.
Yep.
Like, it can't be anything else because I only have 2 music videos out right now. Summer Nights and What's Your Poison. And again, I think right now the song is over 500 views, 500, 600. So like, that's good for me. Like, as far as like, no promotion, I barely promoted it.
Yeah.
I honestly just put the song out for fun. It was supposed to be a project with another artist, and then I was like, fuck it, man. I might as well just do a music video for this because I love the song. It's a short song. It's gonna be easy video, and
Yeah.
again, it gave it that much more like, it gave a presence to it. You know what I mean? It just gave it more.
Yeah. Well,
You know
and
what I mean?
it also means that there's a whole nother thing for your fans to connect with you on, that now they get to see.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, and I know you're a little bit more like, you know, we had this conversation on the interview last week, but like you're a little bit more like, okay, I'm going to be in the video, but more almost behind the scenes in the video. Like, yes, I'll be in it, but it's not like I'm trying to be like, here's my face, nothing else. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Where I am a little bit more in that way, where I'm like, nope, I'm the man, I'm the boss. I want you to be looking at nothing else but me. But at the same time, outside of any of that, it just gives them something more to connect with you on than just listening to the lyrics or to the song in their headphones. Now they get to watch you, and they get to watch what you created from this as well. So absolutely, there's nothing else that it could be. But at the same time, like, I just wish, like, for you, that was like, oh man, the same as me, and you could just make a music video whenever you felt like it and when you had the available time and you've come up with that idea. Because I'm just like, oh man, like, you have some songs, especially off the What the Fuck Is Love EP and Mirrors, I'm like, oh, I would love to see what you would do with some of these songs in a music video with that. So absolutely, 100% that's what it was.
Yeah, I've just been lazy, man. I'll be honest, and not even lazy. It's just I got so many other things going on that like
Exactly.
I just can't do it right now. But I wish, man. That's definitely gonna be like a future state for me. Like I'm definitely gonna be doing more music. It's fun, bro. It's so
Absolutely.
fun to do.
It is.
Like
Yes.
in a moment.
And
But
it's amazing
let's-
what you learn differently and how you become a better artist by doing music videos than you do just being in the booth. Like, it's completely different, and you have to think about everything in a different way. So it's amazing.
Exactly. But let's get to the next song. We have two more songs we're gonna play off of the Long Journey for Balance. Not out yet, but these are just some singles that are being dropped before the actual release to hype it up. So the next song I wanted to play is actually Colombiana.
Yeah.
And I mean, this song, like, honestly, this is the song that made me go, whoa, the quality got better. This got better. Like, hold on. Like, this is like, it's just different in a good way. You know what I mean? So, again, guys, this is Colombiana for RPG Red Purple Gold.
It's your boy RPG, red, purple, gold. Where's my Colombian blood? My south of the border magic. I can't handle it, the way you move that body. You're making me sweat, thinking some thoughts at a noddy. If you're riding next to me, then you're only riding shoddy. Those eyes reach into forever, so much more than just a hottie. I can't handle it, how you shake those sexy hips. Can I please have one more kiss on those sexy lips? If you stay with me for the highs, then I'll be there for the dips. Let's fly around the world, I want you with me on the trips. Can I please have one more touch on your luscious skin? Toffee brown and so soft, you know I can only win. It seems like a single look at you should be a sin. Well, I'm drunk off your love, something just like juice and gin. I'm high off your love, I am up past the moon. I will take you in the middle of the night or high noon. You don't need to ask, my heart has always got the room. I'm just waiting for the seeds of love to begin to bloom. Woo! With a voice something like Ariana, with a body something like Adriana. Every woman is one to one, but I want a Colombiana, Colombiana. I don't want the hot Obama. South of the border, you know that she's a stunner. Every woman is one to one, but I want a Colombiana, Colombiana. Something about
Woo! And y'all know, man, we can only do teases here. Y'all know what it is. Can't do too much. But nah, man, I love this song, bro, for real. Like, this is like, honestly, this is like TikTok worthy. Like, and not even just TikTok worthy. Like, this is like, I can hear this on a commercial. You know what I mean? Like, I could see it now, bro. Like a commercial about a resort in Colombia.
Yep.
And like it's showing cruise ships and like you know, just beautiful women and the beach and all that stuff, the water and the sand, and then this is playing, like
Yep.
this is like, cause it's like it's it is mainstream, but not like a bad mainstream song. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
it's not like, oh, it's like a bot made this. Like nah, it just has that
Right.
that feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Like again, you can see it in a commercial or like on TikTok. Like I feel like this would do really good on TikTok for like people that are going on vacation and
Totally.
just play that song. But I
Yep.
really love this also for the fact that you put your culture in there. You know what I mean? I think that's a very important thing because like as an artist, right, you're trying to show people who you are,
Hmm.
but you know another way to do that is show your culture. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Even if you weren't like raised there, you still like give that love to it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's important. You know, because I do it all the time. I've
Yeah.
been doing it more lately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with this song, you know, and then you can talk about the album also a little bit, the Long Journey for Balance. Just tell us about this cover art,
Hmm.
how it came to be,
Yeah.
and just talk about a little bit about. I want to know the process of all your cover arts for your albums. Like,
Yeah.
what was the process from the first one? Did it change? Did you do anything different, or was it the same vibe? So
For sure.
that's my question, y'all.
So for this first two singles, and for the singles that we released on the last album as well. So Ro actually did all of those. And so one of the things you talked about earlier was the fact that one of her Instagram handles is art by 1971, because she's not actually a musical artist, she is a visual artist. And that's what, like, if I have my main passion in music, her main passion was in visual arts, and she is insanely talented at it. And one of those talents that she also has is in graphic design. And so she actually did the Columbiana, also Aurora Borealis, for this album. And I basically had given her this idea where I was like, okay, now the initial idea I had was a little bit different, where I was like, I am picturing in my mind walking down some road in Colombia, in Cali, and just walking by some little bar, and you just kind of look in, and it's like, and I mean, I'm this kind of guy where I'm like, you know what, like I want to have somebody make me do a double take and just take my breath away. And I individually think that some of the most beautiful women in the world are Colombian women, and not just because some of the most famous supermodels are Colombian, but because of the fact that, like, when I was there, the people, the culture, just and for everybody, I mean, everybody down there is just so beautiful, to where I will admit, like, when I was in Grenada, like, I only had like one or two people that entire time really make me be like, whoa, you are gorgeous. Like, and not that the people weren't like beautiful, but it just was different, where I'm like, oh, the people are so nice. But when I was in Colombia, you know, like I said, 5 or 6 years ago, I mean, I was just blown away. I fell in love every other 5 minutes with some next person that I saw on the street. I'm like, dear God, like, these people here are so beautiful. It's ridiculous. And so I had this idea where I'm like walking by this little bar, and I see this woman kind of from the back, and she just makes me stop and take a double take, and like, just, whoa, okay, your beauty blows me away. And I had said, you know, I want it to be from the back, kind of like her standing in a pose and having one of my hats on tipped to the side, you know, just to keep that RPG flavor with it. And when she gave me this final one, even though the mindset of what I had initially given her in regards to what the first thought that I had in my head of what I pictured in there, even though it's a little different from that, I love how she did it, because she still brought along all the same aspects that I would have wanted. The background is the Colombian flag colors, just like you can see here in my in the office. That is here on every time I do one of my interviews as well. You can always see it here, you know, because for me, it's, you know, it's the most important thing that I am. Like, yes, I am an American and I am a U.S. citizen, but I was born in Colombia. That's where I'm from. That's where my roots are. That's, you know, where, at least, you know, or well, obviously I can't know that for sure, but I would assume that's where my mother still is. So my connection to that place is much, much deeper than just the fact of the place that you've lived all your life. Like, there is a difference to me. And so when I saw the end result, I'm like, wow, even though the scene was a little different, it incorporated everything that I wanted. And I loved what she did with that, and how she incorporated like the Colombian aspects, but also did my hat, and even though that woman was, not like a real person, like it's just something that she created,
Oh, nice.
when she was doing the graphic design. But at the same time, I'm like, this is perfect. And when I saw the final version, I'm like, all right, like I didn't even have to think about it. I'm like, yep, that's it. That's amazing. Don't even need to worry about looking at a second draft or changing or tweaking anything. I was like, I'm in love with this. And then we set it out, and that was the second single that we released. That dropped on the 31st of January. Aurora Borealis was the first, and then next Friday on the 28th is when the final single, Loco, will release as well. So that will be the final single before the release of the album. But also on top of that, Ro had just done an installation at a park here in Seattle where they said, here, you have this whole building, paint whatever you want on it. And I am going to do the next cover art in front of that building where she did that whole installation. Now, there's one scene on one wall that's my favorite one that we're going to do it at. But like, again, like just that importance of Ro in general way, but like, just because of that, like now I know that I'm like, oh man, I'm expecting this one to now be the new best one because of all of those added pieces. But because of, this type of thing that Ro was able to help create for me, and Aurora Borealis as well, like I loved both of them. And, when she sent them to me, it was like, done. Don't need anything else done. This is perfect.
I love that, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this album, man. Because again, like, you have like just like a good quality to like how you produce these things. Like everything about it, from the cover art to the music that's on it, like the features that you do have are like really good. Like it's really professional. Like you don't really see that a lot nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I feel like people just kind of throw things together. So.
Right.
I mean, that's dope. So guys, again, this is 10th in Music. Well, the corner of 10th in Music. A segment that we're doing now for artists on artist interviews. If you guys are interested in being interviewed by RPG, the great host himself,
hit us up.
DM us at Bozy World or on our Instagrams. So I am gonna play the last song, which is Loco. I'm gonna try to keep that one short because I'm not gonna be able to see the time, but. And then after that, we'll do a little bit of Future State. And then I have a little clip I want to show you guys. But, yeah, guys, this is Loco by RPG Red Purple Gold.
Go, loco, 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 loco. Go, loco, 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 loco. Go, loco, 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 loco. It's time to go a little crazy. You know my flows are never lazy. Loco, 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 loco. You know that I'm out of my mind. You know I'm one of a kind. Loco, 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 loco. I will have you bouncing off the walls, going through it. Loco, 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 loco. I will be the point that is vocal, cry like a wolf, and howl at the moon. Just drop it low and just go loco. I will tell you just how I want it. We'll shake it fast and shake it slow. Shake it fast, shake it fast. You know that I'm out of my mind. It is the only thing I know. I'm so crazy. I'm so crazy. I don't care if you're out on the floor or upside down on the pole. Just follow me cause I am the light. Look at how much I glow. I am the center of the circle. I'm the star of the show. Go, loco, 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 loco. Go, loco, 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 loco.
And I think that's a good place to stop it. But again, guys, that was Loco. That's also going to be on The Long Journey of Balance. You can check it out now, all platforms. And yeah, guys, that was the corner of 10th and Music. Hope you guys like that little segment we had going on. Let's get back to the stage area here and get comfy here. You know what I'm saying? we got them good backgrounds over here. Stop playing with us. Stop playing with us. But again, guys, this is Artist on Artist featuring RPG Red Purple Gold. Y'all know what it is. So let's get into some future state now to kind of start wrapping it up. You
Yep.
know, just tell us about any collaborations you got coming up. You know, definitely talk about the long journey of balance. If you have like a set date that you want to promote,
Yeah.
any new music videos, you know, anything that you want to just let them keep them focused for the future.
Absolutely. So again, like I said, Loco is going to be releasing and dropping next Friday, the 28th of March. I am going to be putting out the cover art hopefully Friday. I'm actually having it worked on and completed right now. And the guy who's going to be finishing it up said that he should have it to me by Thursday. So I'm hoping that this Friday will be the first day I can be able to actually officially show it and put it out there for the world. But this song is my favorite one on the album. Also why I put it as the last song or the last single, because I want this to be the last thing people remember before they get into the album. Now, this single is going to be releasing on the 28th. So I don't have a 100% direct release date for the album, but I would assume it's going to be probably the third or fourth week into April, because I want to be able to give it, at least 3 to 4 weeks after that final single before the album drops. Usually I'm okay going with like 2 weeks to maybe a month in between the singles. This is the longest that I've done in between the singles, and that's, just more been timing and whatnot, not on purpose. I wasn't trying to do that. But in general, I'm really excited for this song specifically. I think it's my biggest banger in the sense of the banger ones that I have ever done. And now, if you guys were on the reviews maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had just previewed a song that will be on the next album after this, so The Winding Road to Understanding, and that was called Vibe. Loco was the first. Vibe is the next Loco. Just in the way that the song sounds, the heaviness of the beat, what I was able to do with it. And so I like to try to be able to do that for myself, but it's probably going to be in that third or fourth week of April when I drop The Long Journey for Balance. So definitely get ready for that. But once I know that I have the date set, I will absolutely put that out and get you guys hyped. I'm going to also do a music evolution for every single song on the album. I started with the first 3 singles. I've done 3 more after that, so I've done 6 of the total 12. So I will be finishing up the final 6. Again, just putting those out sporadically in that lead up to the release of the album. On top of that, so as Louis had mentioned before, but now that we're a little bit closer to it, now we can be a little bit more comfortable talking about it. But when he had played Love Broken, we were on a different review or on one of our other shows, and he had said to me, he's like, bro, like, I want to do a part 2, and I want to be on Love Broken part 2. And I was like, I've never done a part 2 to any song before, like a part 2, not just like the sequel to the thing you did, but like you are saying that this is now taking place right after that last one was. Like The Godfather part 2. It's not just the next movie. It is the next movie in this one story that's ongoing. So we are going to be doing a Love Broken part 2. I also have 2 other songs that I'm working with you on. We've also created 2 other ones that you had sent me. I have the new song coming out called Break My Soul with Light. I also have the one that I talked about earlier, Lost in a Nightmare, featuring Malachi Manson and Hellbound. And then also, I do have, so the first single that will be released after the release of A Long Journey for Balance is going to be called As Above, So Below. And that is with Marcus Milano. And he's actually the one who's doing the cover art for this final one, because he also did the cover art for that song as well. And so even though I knowingly am focused the most right now on The Long Journey for Balance, I've already started. I already have 10 beats for the next album. Vibe was one of those. The Prey is one of those. And what's so amazing about that is because it's just like, I now have this one album out with Castellini, or that's going to be coming out with Castellini. Now I've already got 10 brand new beats from him. And while I was on that vacation, of the 4 songs that I completed, 2 of those were for Castellini, and of the initial 6 beats I got from him, almost 5 of those are now already done. So I'm just like, the amount of like inspiration that I get and all of that work that I'm able to put in so quickly, especially Vibe came together so fast. That was within days of that song was written, done, and then boom, I got in the booth. But yet when I hear it after it gets completed, I can tell, especially if it's a Castellini song, like, and again, not that like, oh, because of the song being called Vibe, but like just, I can hear it now. And I'm like, oh, okay, whoa, that is something on a different level. Like, there's all the songs that I made for Castellini's album, and then like Loco. When I did Loco, I was like, oh, wow, this is different. This is something like I have never done. I've done other bangers, like, you know, Panoramic Roof, the one that we played at the beginning, the intro to this live going started. That was the first big banger of that way, where it was simple, my delivery was simple, the cadence was simple, but I was able to give so much more energy to all of those, even more than I already do. So those are the big future state ones. A lot of collaborations still coming up, still a lot of people that I want to be able to work with, and I will, but it's just more so like, okay, you know, finding the time and all of that. But the big thing that I want you to remember, though, is that The Long Journey for Balance will be dropping in April, and the final single, Loco, comes out next Friday, the 28th.
Yes, sir. Well said, well said. So, guys, before we completely wrap this up, I wanted to show you guys a clip that I have ready for you guys. And I was like, you know what? I might as well show this. And this is actually RPG's section of the Bozy World trailer.
Nice.
I was like, you know what? I think it'd be nice. I think it'd be nice to show this.
Well, the things that when I was thinking of a clip of, last thing I thought of. That's awesome.
Not the karaoke. You guys can see the karaoke. We're going to be putting out some clips soon. But, yeah, guys, I just want to show you. I'm going to play this section of RPG's section on the Bozy World, the trailer.
Ring, ring. Destiny's calling. Are you ready to answer? Will you take the call? Oh, hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy RPG. Just here working on a new song. Basically just trying to be able to create the next hit. But I just wanted to be able to come and say hello and welcome to Bozy World. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Like I said, my name is RPG, Red, Purple, Gold. And I'm one of the admins here on the Bozy World team. And my main responsibility is that I run the Artist on Artist Spotlight here at Bozy World. But we're also getting ready for album reviews and even more, finding new ways to be able to spotlight and showcase your artistry and your talent. So again, guys, thank you so much for being here, for being a part of Bozy World, and welcome to the fam.
Yes, sir. And then we got a little clip of Harrison right there. Look at that beautiful face. But you guys, I just wanted to show that little clip because I mean, I think I just love how the trailer came together, man. Because like, again,
Totally.
we all worked on it together, and like everything that you see is something that RPG actually picked out. He was like, okay, I like this, I want that, and we were on Discord working on that. So like, man, it was so fun putting that together, and then at the same time just giving all of us just more of a platform for people to see us as a team working together, doing a project together. So definitely stay tuned for more videos. I actually have an idea for the next video, but I just love how in this video, you know, you're talking about artists on artists, you're talking about 10th and music, and like now we're here. Like, you know, we started on Instagram,
Right.
terrible quality and all these issues.
Yep.
And now we're over here. We're actually on a stage. You know what I mean? We're able to play videos and play the music with better quality. Like everything has just gotten so much better and evolved. And like, I'm really happy about it. I love that you're also getting your shine, bro. You know, because all the things that happened in the past, you know, I'm not going to say with who or with what, but like, you know, seeing that really motivated me to go, you know what, come over here. We're going to get you right. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make sure that, you know, you have the spotlight and also the chance to spotlight other people. Because, like, you know, you're an amazing host, bro. You're an amazing interviewer. You know, I'm like, you know, RPG's up here. I'm like right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like getting there, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's still got the crown. You know what I'm saying? But again, guys, I just want to say I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Everybody who stuck here to the end, who was here since the beginning. If you stopped by, like, all of that means a lot to us. We really appreciate that from the bottom of our hearts.
Absolutely.
Like, we put in a lot of work to do these things just to, you know, give another artist or person the shine. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
again, we do these every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time for the most part. If we have somebody in a different time zone, the time might change. So the time's not really that consistent, but not in a bad way. But again, just stay tuned for every Tuesday. Regardless, it's gonna be every Tuesday. And what's the next one? Are we doing
Hellbound?
Because you said okay.
Hellbound's
So
next week.
our admin Hellbound will be the next guest on here, and RPG will be interviewing him. And then we still have to do Liz, which is Sestu
Yep.
Kavi, and we got Harzen and Pickles in that lineup. We also got
Yep.
Nani that's gonna be in the lineup after all that. Adult Swim,
Yep.
EXO
Vario
got the
too.
Saws. Yeah,
Yep.
Vario. Like, we stacked. Like this whole year, we're gonna have a lot of artists, a lot of people up here. And again, this is not just for artists. If you're a producer, if you're a painter, if you're just a regular person who loves music, we are willing to interview you and give you a little platform so we could get to know you more and more. So again, guys, if you're interested, you can DM us at bozy.world without the O. So that's BOZY.WRLD. You can DM me at Louisville_ the rapper. You can DM RPG at RPGRedPurpleGold. And honestly, just any admin, hit us up. We'll redirect you to RPG, get you on the calendar, because we do have a schedule for all these things. And stay tuned. So this Friday, music reviews. Y'all already know tomorrow you can start submitting your music to bozyreacts@gmail.com. So definitely stay tuned with that. And that's pretty much it from my side. Thank you, RPG, for your time, bro. This was fun as hell, like always.
Always.
And it was really good to, like, I feel like we definitely got deeper in this one, which is like
which is crazy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And this one was like 2.5 hours, which like it didn't even feel like that, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like, I looked at the time and I was like, damn, it's already at 50 minutes. I feel like we've been on for like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But
right.
if you want to say anything, kind of close us off, and then I'll do the outro.
Absolutely. No, guys, well, I appreciate everybody that came by. For anybody who sees this later, definitely pop down into those comments. Let us know what your favorite song was. You know, if you want to know any other information just based off of any of our stories or the questions that he had, or you, oh man, I didn't think about putting in that question before. Boom, put it in there, put in those comments, and I could definitely be able to get back to you. Or maybe just be able to make a video and be like, hey, well, you know, I got this comment from this person, boom, boom, boom. Hey, let me give you a little bit more of that background. But again, you guys, I really appreciate this. This is episode 20. I mean, I cannot believe that we have done 19 of these other ones. You know, all of the admins are getting the opportunity to, you know, go back through and now get our StreamYard version of this, you know, because like Louis said, you know, with just the upgrade and all of the different things we can do here, it's just amazing to be able to see it. But to think that we just started off of like, oh, I'm always having problem getting somebody to come up on my phone every single week because of Instagram, and now we're here doing this. Started with the first one. Now we are 20 deep into this. I can't wait until we're hitting 50 and being like, what are we going to do to make 50 the biggest one yet we've done? So I'm excited to see 50, 75, 100, you know, 500 in, you know, a couple years from now. But it's an amazing journey that we've been on from this. And I appreciate you, Louis, for hosting and giving me the opportunity as well to be able to be like, oh no, we got to give RPG a shine too. He can't just only be the interviewer guy.
Exactly.
We got to make sure and give him his shine as well. So I appreciate that, sir.
Hell yeah, man. Like, that's why I love Bozy World, because we're not like everybody else. Like, you have people charging money to get people onto the interviews, and like, we're just like, come on down. Like,
yep.
Don't pay us with no money. Pay us with your time and your presence. And your energy, and like the fact that, you know, we're doing it with the admins. You know, nobody else does that. They just get guests. Like, nah, we're gonna do this. So at the same time, we're practicing, we're learning stuff, and then once we get to the other guests, we know exactly what to do. We already got an idea, but at the same time, again, giving everybody their shine, because you know, this is how you guys get to learn about us. go deeper into our stories, our music, everything overall. So, again, guys, I really do appreciate all of your time. It means a lot to us. It's the reason that we keep doing it. Stay tuned again every Tuesday. We got these going on. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, man, peace and love. Y'all have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much.
What up? It's your boy RPG. Red, purple, gold. Kilos. Panoramic roof. Bitch, I'm red, purple, gold. RPG. My strength will never fold. My heart is never frozen cold. I'm the best. Yeah, that's what I've been told. 1, 2, 3. My voice has been freely sold. Luxury of my life is all I know. It's all I know. But I will never sell my soul. Never sell it. I won't judge if you slide down the pole. Ha! I can see the whole sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. In my life, I place first on your last. Well, bitch, you know that's the proof. Yeah, at the back. You would think this is a lie. Never. But I can't promise that it's so spoof. I tell the truth. I can see the sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. You know this is a hit. It is. Feel the drip, never slip, never quit. Never quit. I'm on top of all of it. On the mound. This throne is the only place I'll sit. Sitting on. Camel tan leather on my seats. Are those blood red bottoms on my feet? Yeah. Ha, you know that I lead the fleet. I lead it. To you and your crew, I will control all delete. Leather and wood on my wheel. Steak and lobster is my meal. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. I used to numb how I feel. Your love, I wish that I could steal. One more time. You know that I'm the real deal. Real deal. I will crush you under my heel. Now that I am in jail. Cause this beat I just killed. I can see the whole sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. In my life, I place first on your last. Well, bitch, you know that's the proof. Yeah, at the back. You would think this is a lie. Never. But I can't promise that it's no spoof. I don't lie. I can see the sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. I can see the whole sky. This is how you're on a team with no sport. Yep. The ball is always in my court. I only see A's on the report. Only A's. Oh, please, miss me with your retort. Miss me. My team is kilos of gold. KOG. We are so big and so bold. Why do you want to try to break it? Never. When you know what the mode. I can see the whole sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. In my life, I place first on your last. Number 1. Well, bitch, you know that's the proof. You're at the back of the race. You would think this is a lie. Never. But I can't promise that it's no spoof. I tell the truth. I can see the sky and the stars underneath my panoramic roof. I can see the whole sky. I can see the entire sky.